see it.
The intake went to the correct set point, and the shooter spun up correctly.
Did the intake spit? Or Jeff?
Didn't tell it to yet. Yeah. Corey, Ri3D, anything from Starbucks?
Yeah, I'll take a coffee and like a bagel or something.
Just come
If
right
you
up.
guys want to work something, I can run and pick it up for you all.
Rachel's got to stop by on the way here.
Okay.
Thank you though. Come type what you want.
What?
Come type what you want.
I don't know what I want.
Oh, 45A wheel. The base.
Donations here.
Yeah. We're only going to give it away.
Okay.
Samantha takes a wheel in the face.
I'll take a 2-inch 45A black wheels face.
There you go.
So we're gonna wait. We're gonna wait. How long for the shooter to 2 seconds?
Is it straight set to 60?
Yep.
So Chad, if you're joining us there, obviously as we have a couple hours left until the reveal at noon Eastern. They're currently working on some autonomous right now and doing some code for the autonomous. You're going to be testing it out. We will be doing a climber demonstration a little bit later as well, so we have to film a video for that. But other than that, a lot of it's just final touches to get ready for when the time runs out at noon Eastern. But if you got questions, feel free to ask in chat. Samantha will be checking on those and following up for you. But thanks for joining us this morning.
Sorry. You want something from Starbucks?
Need bumpers on right now, bro?
Do I need bumpers?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, kind of, because I want to put it on against the thing and shoot.
Wait, we can put a bumper there.
Oh yeah, give me an old bumper. Can we put a note real quick just in the shooter as if we were gonna run a match? Or in the intake as if we're gonna run a match, Reese?
Yeah.
Just go first real quick. Can you put the note
Get the bumper off.
or Reese, can you just put the note in real quick? I wanna run it real quick before we take the bumpers off. So I can see.
Okay, that's
Yep. Back up. Enabling in 3, 2, 1.
Alright. Backside's gonna be difficult. So you gotta like really try and like bend it past the axle right there. Yeah. Alright. Yeah. Now you gotta try and get it up as hard as you can. And then you're gonna give it my way. There we go. We just kind of gotta shove these things on.
Yeah.
It's not even a matter for shooting. It's still legal. What? Yeah, no, cool. I mean, I could just bring it.
Enabling. What? I'll put it there. I want to test the drive tab because that's the only other thing we have to do. So if I can get it to drive forward and backward, I have all the pieces to move the auto.
I don't think we're doing much with it afternoon, unless something breaks and we need to fix it for the reveal video. Or we were going to be filming that. Did they sleep? I don't know. I hear they were up to like 4:30.
Oh.
That's when we left here.
Oh, okay, yeah. So,
I fell asleep about 5:30. I woke up about 7.
I was
No, we didn't
asleep by 1, I think.
Distance. What is this? Is it meters? Or 1 meter? Speed?
The drivetrain should be tuned for, well,
It doesn't have to be active.
right, but what is the drive capacity? If it's referencing the encoders and stuff, then it's assuming that the encoder output is in meters.
I think so, yeah. It's all doing pose and get X to get nice and back.
We'll be able to see if our pose is good here, which would indicate half curve generally work.
Essentially, yeah.
Because this isn't like time, this is distance.
I didn't hear.
Alright, it should drive forward 1 meter at 0.2 speed. Ready? Enabling?
Forwards is backwards, yeah.
Back.
But that was illegal. Why is that backwards?
I don't know. Bouncing positive 1 into his drive.
Has everything been inverted? Always?
No? I don't think so.
Okay.
Just gonna invert it into that. All day.
Or is this a blue? Red?
Yeah.
This is red. We can mark this one off.
Enabling Antonio.
Let's see if I do the.
Alright. I'm gonna send an actual audio or auto link.
What's our LED priority?
Yeah, auto.
Well, you can
Sure.
put it on this. I will water you, but I can start preparing water.
Yep, that's fine.
Oh, yeah.
They're in the Amazon box with it. Do we know how far away the next note is? I can look in the manual. They start on this. Do you have a measure tape? Do you help? Oh yeah, can you help me measure this real quick first?
Yeah.
It's 9 feet 6 inches from the alliance wall. Can you get that, Jordan?
Oh, there were 4 of them here.
Oh, I'm gonna cross. It is a little different. shots. So zoom from there. Doesn't have to be perfect.
Oh, wait, 6 feet. That's like right here.
Yeah. It is 9 feet 6 inches. So if you're measuring from that, it's 6 feet 6 inches. There's a piece. Can you just off tape there ish? That's the center of the node.
Dude, you could, this is like 4 feet out of it. Within the time?
Yeah, potentially. Agreed. So right.
Yeah.
Go to right in there. You also remember there's 5 that start on the middle line, so I think some good things might dash to the midline.
Ooh. Yeah, side auto that goes under the stage, grabs them, and comes back would be good.
Yep.
Because most teams will be able to do
Oh,
the
God.
Alright, so it's 6 feet away, so it's 2 meters, right?
Already.
But we're here, so we only need to drive a meter. Can take out? I think that's a good starting point.
They're along this way.
It's directly in front of the robot.
Yeah, if you go a meter, you'll be good.
I'm gonna go a little bit faster at 0.4 as well.
Yeah, I guess. Oh, maybe that's more difficult than I thought. I thought they were closer this way, but
They're pretty wide. Right, this should be a 2-piece. Well, I just want to pick it up. It's gonna do 1 and then pick up the second one. Right now. Alright, auto enabling.
and it's yes.
Dude, this is why you put so much time into framework.
You're writing one line commands
Yeah.
for time robot.
Do I have to put negative distance and negative speed? I think I do, right?
You know what it is, Jordan?
What?
All of the odometry is assuming that the battery is forward. I don't know.
Sure. Alright, Good. Enabling. Auto enabling. What happened?
What do you mean?
Just immediately ejected.
I'm gonna look back at stream.
Oh, I think the drive forward task didn't drive backwards, right? Alright. In that case,
Is it a less than? I thought it was doing smarter math than that.
I thought it was too. Alright, now we're just gonna do drive forward a meter, drive back a meter, at least attempt to do that. You wanna pull the note out?
Put it in.
No, take it out real quick. Just so I have nothing. Alright, enabling. Alright. I'm gonna drive into enabling. All spell.
Can you toss
So
me
it's-
one of those notes?
Keeps the same distance, but the power is negative to drive backwards. So distance is always positive. Oh, right, because we're doing, yeah, we're doing that and then getting the absolute value of the difference in our current pose and our initial pose.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird, kind of dumb, but it's whatever. Alright, autonomous enabling.
First try! First try!
Okay, do we want to try 3Ps or do we want to work on other stuff?
We wanted to.
Yep, I'm cool with that. Let me run a couple more times. I just want to make sure that we're good. Alright, so we don't need. Alright, just like a tiny bit.
Reese, check out this auto. Reese! Reese, watch this. You can stay over there, you just gotta watch the notes.
Yeah, I'm watching the stream.
Okay, then never mind.
It's dead. Alright. Enabling for auto. you probably do, knowing you've done that as well. Considering I YOLO'd all of the actual tasks, like the shooter task and the drive, and fixed the drive task from R1. Okay, so let me bring my code since we had functional two-piece auto.
From chat, will you add cameras and some kind of gyro on this?
The gyro's already on there. We're just using a NavX 2.
Yeah, I'm gonna put a camera on this.
Oh.
I mean, yeah, but with the auto intake, you kind of don't need it.
No, you need it for intake across the field.
I don't know. It's not hard.
For tele-up across the field, yeah, maybe.
If I'm being honest, if I were a driver in this game, I wouldn't use it.
Probably wouldn't either across the field. Although, to be fair, on the far side of the field, directly in the middle, there's the two stages between you two. Might be a little bit spicy.
However, there's a clear sight line underneath it. Is that what matters?
Maybe. And it's not like they're trusses, right?
Like if I'm...
It won't be as bad as teamwork.
Mount it behind the polycar or the shooter. And then through it towards the intake.
Yeah,
You get sick when
everything's
you
a trust,
spin
and
up
the
the
middle
shooters.
thing is polycarbonate. It won't be as bad as Steamworks, but it's not gonna be the best.
Okay. Let's do some tuning on.
And story.
Yeah.
Do we want to make that velocity mode really fast?
For the intake?
To see if we can make it more consistent. Maybe we can.
I don't know. Let's try.
You guys just roll that probably around like 10:30 or something like
Honestly, we can just do it now.
Well, you guys are working, so I don't want to
I would rather get it done now so that we know how much time we have later.
Yeah, no, that makes
If
sense.
that's cool with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So auto is that what I mean, do you want to just like a short of a two-piece auto?
I mean, if you want to do that too, that's fine.
I got press the enable button over here if you want.
Yeah. You want to film that?
Free content!
Yeah. The TikTok I posted yesterday, on TikTok has like 70,000 views on it.
Oh, nice.
It's just this.
I mean, it is TikTok views, so there's different
Yeah,
ones.
it kind of counts.
Yeah, they're more like impressions, but still, it's a lot.
How long does someone have to stick around for it to do a view on TikTok? Like,
Nothing, it's an impression.
Yeah,
They do have another metric that's like, I forget what it's called, it's like some sort of like interaction type thing, but it's the same thing with YouTube Shorts or on Reels, I think it might be 2 seconds. I don't know. But a YouTube video, well, it's not public, the general consensus is 30 seconds for interaction.
Yeah.
But it's technically YouTube never published it.
What are you looking up?
I just want to make sure that this is...
Here, I'll show you right here.
Wow.
I'm having a hard time believing it.
Right here. I've got that on. Hold on.
I don't know, chat, do you want to see a 2-piece auto? Let us know.
Oh, they've already seen it.
Well, I missed it then. I want to see it.
Honestly, just mark the center of that circle, or like currently with tape. Just put a dot. Close or an X close enough.
Hey, chat, you want to see a 2-piece auto? Wow! Ah!
It's morning. We can do what we want.
Now, auto.
4-piece auto?
I think it's
I think it's doable.
Chat, right now, if we get 2 million bits, we'll do a 4-piece auto for you on stream. Wow!
This is assuming that Pathfinder plays nice with us, but if it does, there's no reason. Hell, it couldn't.
Pathfinder software created by the person that's on Team 3015, Ranger Robotics out of New York.
That's honestly not too wide, but you would need a path.
Yeah. For sure.
All right, you want to go up there and hold the bumper for the auto?
But actually.
You're watching Ri3D Auto in the Morning on KISS FM.
Everyone ready?
Yeah.
Enabling in 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, I hit the corner bracket.
Oh, we saw that. When the intake came down, definitely came down a little canted first.
Yeah. Yeah,
No.
it's only powered on one side.
Oh, yeah.
So, yes, I'm not. It's unfortunate, but I'm not terribly surprised.
Why did Reese just go? No.
What's wrong, Reese?
All good? That was you
That
from
was
last year.
That was literally you. All right. Everyone ready?
First try.
Enabling in 3, 2, 1.
Wow, chat!
Only 1,999,900 bits left for.
Well, Jack, can you say I love you?
Oh, that was impressive.
Thank you.
Look at that. Do we want to try with
What was the other short?
the shooter or the intake?
Goat.
Try both.
I'll do
See
that
how
later.
we're feeling.
Well,
I want to do
Yeah.
something else,
We tuned PID,
I know,
so
but
it might
I
actually
gotta
be a
get
more
the
consistent
that
spot
auto
every
out.
time.
I can
Yes.
and I can
Let's do
change the angle of that spot, right?
Did you still want to do auto, or do you want to film the?
Oh yeah, let's do the climb.
Okay. Who's doing that?
Probably Reese. Unless you want to do it for you. Well,
You got this, Corey.
We need two drivers, though. Well, not really. You can do both.
Samantha can help you out with whatever you need to on it.
I feel like we just pull Reese over here. We drive and
I don't
he
care what you
narrates.
Or he can help you when I film, or I film him.
You gonna help us all?
Well, you say that.
He knows the TTV telescopes more than
Yeah. Like I'm not saying you couldn't do it, but I feel like Reese can just send it.
Also, if you don't have the bumper, I'm just gonna do it, so.
Okay. All we need right now, we got the iron fabrics off and we got it marked off.
Really close to get the new vinyl cut and an iron on, and I'll be able to wrap it.
Your brackets, are the brackets off right now, or could we drop it in the bumper on with no fabric?
Yeah.
I kind of want to show the interaction with the ground.
Alright. I'm gonna grab some W for you real quick.
All right, teams, just saw us do a 2-piece auto. So if you don't make sure every team in your alliance does at least that, or have the capability.
Only one per match.
Well, I know. That's why I say capability.
I don't know though. I think more than one per match can, because
Yeah,
if you look at where I actually think they're spaced out nicely. If you look here, so if you put one here, And then the next one's actually here. Even if you're 2 fender bots, I don't think it would be unreasonable to try to start somebody here either, right? So you start them here, they just drive back and do the exact same thing, but from a different angle. You know, you just point your robot at the note. I don't know where you're going over here.
Well, chat, thanks everybody for joining us on a Tuesday morning, and honestly, way more people than I thought, so awesome that you're able to hop in and join us during this.
You have nuts?
Did anybody convince their teachers in class to put this on? Because that'd be awesome.
Who's watching it without permission? That's what I would do.
Let us know how many so we can count the true viewers now.
Alright, it's gonna be oil it now, so if you want.
Don't.
I'm not gonna overdo it. I'm gonna give quick sprays.
What's underneath that?
A Delaware rod.
No, like, there's nothing underneath it, right?
No, there's nothing. It goes straight to the ground underneath that.
Okay.
There's belt.
Yeah, that's fine. If we have a well-lubricated drivetrain.
Here we see a 50-baht climber in the well being fed by its master, the WD-40.
I mean, you can't call this a 50
Hashtag 50.
Even though it's called 50-baht, it requires only the finest lubricants.
Or pumping it up. Gotta pump up your climber before the match.
Oh, that's
Very easy.
Right? Might get this thing going.
Nope, I'm just trying to wake myself up in the morning.
That's fair. That's
Oh, yeah,
I gotta drive home
not
6
from
hours
anonymous,
tonight, or
that's
7 hours
correct.
tonight.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Then we're good.
Hopefully, I don't know if it's stuck in
Nah,
there.
apparently it's pretty bad in Wisconsin right now. So we're like, well, but the nice thing is it'll only be like my last hour.
That's not terrible.
Yeah, apparently everything like Milwaukee and south is not frozen, but apparently where I live,
Yeah,
it's all
today, snow, nothing.
right when you land.
No, nothing.
Oh, there you go.
I don't know.
Well, we got a tape measure and just fact check the chain dimensions.
Yeah, I think there's 4 more.
Oh, it's so smooth now. Factory settings.
Wow!
I mean, it's gonna be snowing all day.
Eight, perfect. And just get this from our point to ground.
Suka, suka.
33.
33? Is that the Killer Bees out of Michigan?
No.
It's
Oh,
Go down.
That's 30 inches.
Do we want to just show like the whole sequence
Yeah, so the whole sequence
dry and then drive up and do it?
Yeah. Kind of, and we can do different kinds. We can climb both ways.
Yeah, and definitely want to see what they climb too from like different positions. So like, let's actually try to climb right here and see what happens to the robot and stuff.
So
Yeah.
driving under the stage floor.
Let's climb with our intake out and see how it does. I know it may not be good, but let's just show it.
The whole time?
No, just once.
Just one at a
Like
time?
do different variations, you know?
Okay. We'll rely on you to call out what variation you want to see.
We should be able to do it.
wow, I don't get out of here before this.
And then we can also do a single arm climb. Actually, can we see if we can do that? And I'm gonna push up against the robot and act like there was a second robot there, kind of leaning up that you can lean up against.
You just want to test it real quick?
Yeah, let me test that.
Safety first.
Oh yeah.
Ah!
There's a pair over here, Reese. There's a pair here. by the Rio rate.
My eyes.
The Rage Rio, if you will.
It was
Alright.
2 a.m.
Good. Go. Oh wait, hold up. We're getting caught on the wood right there. So go ahead and come a little bit more. I guess I'm up to the center right now. Go ahead and.
You want to try like?
Yeah. And act like this. I don't know if I'm going to be able to push it hard enough, but. Okay, so come up like that, and then another robot. Oh, we'll need a second robot that does this and pushes. So I don't think
I don't think it's worth
that. I can do that.
We can get on the chain here, right?
Yeah.
I'm not doing anything.
Is that Max?
Go, just go back and forth into it. Like you can probably get that to go.
That's what I'm worried about. We cannot hit that.
Do you want us to drop the battery in?
Hit what?
Yeah, I should probably do that, especially for climbing.
Alright, safety first.
We're just waiting for all the panic climbing of that. They smack the chain and it's all wobbly, and then they can't get it. Similar to like the panic balancing of last.
Right.
As a driver, I relate to that very well, but it is kind of funny to be watching that and not on the team.
Yeah.
It would be funny if a team had like a chain detect, so they just drove full force into the chain and it like caught and they.
Yeah, people are talking about a
Swung
like
up.
passive
Yeah,
climber.
I could totally see that.
Enabling.
Sound crazy. Crazy. It was crazy, man.
So I think this is probably like the furthest we can go.
Yeah,
That's
we
super
just have room
solid.
for another robot right here.
There's plenty of room. Like,
If two went up at the same time, right?
wait, look at how, like, if you look from this angle,
Can you
we're
extend
slightly
the,
to the center, but not much.
extend the left one all the way? It looks like we're down an inch or two. Reese?
Reese, just pull the left one out.
Is that it?
We're out all the way.
Okay.
We're out all the way.
Maybe it's just the perspective from the chain.
Yeah, I think it's your perspective.
You guys want to film, send you back to code?
Yep.
Sometime.
I'm backing up, Reese.
You should be
Sit down. Alright, I think I'm going to start over here.
Yeah, we can get out of your way too.
No, you're good.
We go through here or anything.
We'll do that. I just want to be able to get a good like side profile shot of climb and stuff. Alright, Mr. Reese, go. Alright, chat, we're going to be filming a video that's going to go on YouTube. Bear with us for a moment. Oh yeah, you have like no slack on this.
Please unplug it from the camera.
I'll shake it a bunch.
Unplugged it from the thing anyway.
Still got to power this though, so the wireless transmitter works.
Summation my head. As the kids say. I think so. I said that.
Alright,
I don't think
audio.
the kids say that anymore.
Hello, hello. Check, 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 check. Hey everyone, Reese here, Cranberry Alarm, Ri3D. Today I'm going to be talking about Climber and how our robot kind of interacts with chain, how our center of gravity affects everything, and what we're kind of going, what our approach is to getting on stage.
You mentioned like, hey, we're going to show off a couple of different kind of spots on the chain.
Okay.
Alright, whenever you see red light, you are good to go.
Hey everyone, Reese here with Cranberry Alarm, Ri3D. today I'm going to be talking about our climbers. This is a new addition that we made to the robot when we're utilizing Ri3D bot telescoping tubes to climb onto the chain. We're going to be testing out a few different iterations, a few different variations of climbing at different positions, different arms, and seeing how our center of gravity affects the overall climbing of this robot. All right. So let's go ahead and start. We're going to start with our most basic climbing configuration, which is going to be when you're climbing alone and you can just take up the entire center of the chain. So we'll go ahead and do that. And see our arms come up relatively fast, and we're still running them at a really low speed. We could go faster, but we figured this is a good controllable speed for us to be at. We'll go up, and we're up right now. And we can even go further, but we think this is fine for now. I mean, let's go ahead and show all the way to the bottom, just kind of show how far the climbers can go. So just about there is right around where our bottom stop is, and you can see we're pretty clear, even when we kind of go and shake a little bit. So let's go and come down now. Now let's go back up. Let's go and turn around. Bring the arms down. Let's do the other way. This is going to be important because, you know, in a match you may not be able to control which side you're coming from. This is going to be another common thing you got to watch out for. When the chain is moving like that, you got to be careful. So we tried to make our hooks right here pretty wide so that we could catch the chain when it's bouncing around and shaking. So there's something to watch out for. So we're going to come on down now. Let's go ahead and do one. Let's turn around. Let's do one with our intake out and see how that affects our COG. Let's say you just scored a game piece. And right now we're not totally centered either. We're pretty far to the right. So you can see here, even with our intake out, it's going to be close on if you actually make it or not. But you can kind of see, depending on your ref, you know, this may be scored, but this is going to be close. I would say this would be a good score. All right, so we're going to come on down now. And now let's go ahead and show like what happens if we can only get one hook on the bar. Yeah, one hook. Beautiful. So as you can see, even when we pull up all the way, our bumpers are touching down here, so we're not going to be able to score with just one arm. However, if you want to get one arm on and you have someone next to you to support you as you go up, the potential that could work, but you're going to have to be really close to each other for that to work. I think this game is going to be really important when it comes to spacing to make sure everyone has room on the chain if you want to get that harmony. That harmony is going to be really important for getting that ranking point. Yeah. Yep. So we're utilizing the Ri3D bot telescoping tubes. Each of these tubes are 10.5 inches. And we went with this because we wanted to really stow them as low as possible. Go and bring it down all the way. A little more. Perfect. So this is what they're going to look like in their stow configuration. This was important because we wanted to really pull the chain as far down onto the robot as possible. However, we still wanted to be able to reach 5 inches above the lowest point. We kind of arrived at that because that was a happy medium between reaching way over it and also pulling down really low. The Ri3D bot is really, really nice because it extends really high and retracts really low, and I'm a really big fan of these and really have had no problem. Assembly went really well. All in all, could not be more happier with these. Our motors that we're running on these are currently 12-to-1. We could be running them faster, but we're using the sport planetary gearboxes. You could use a max planetary here. You could even use a versus planetary. There's a lot of options that you can use here for gear reduction, or you can build your own gearbox. I would recommend maybe you could have the option to synchronize them if you want. We like the ability to have them decoupled because that gives you the option to raise one side, lower one side, and that can be important for stabilizing the robot as you're going up. And do you want to talk about some controls?
Introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Corey. I'm going to talk a little bit about the controls for the climber. In order to get this Hey, I'm Corey. I'm going to be talking about the. Hey, I'm Corey. I'm going to be talking a little bit about the climber controls. So to control the two Neos on the 12-to-1 gearboxes, we're running the motors in velocity mode, and that ensures that as we climb up and the motors require more power, more torque in order to keep going up, the climber is going to be going at the same speed. And it also means that whenever we reach our desired height, we're going to set those motors to 0 meters per second. And so they're going to try and stay in the same spot. It acts as a brake mode. You probably noticed when we climbed earlier that we sunk slowly since our PID isn't perfect right now. However, that's something that you could tune. We talked about adding something which, once we latch down all the way, would maybe pin the climber in place so that this wasn't possible. But according to the rules, as long as you're off the ground at the moment that time ends, from what we understand, it counts as a climb. So it's okay if your robot, after the match ends, falls quickly to the floor. Sure. So this was a video covering our climber using the ThriftyBot telescoping tubes, and sorry, I'm spacing this.
Check out more videos.
You want to take back over, or is that?
Thank you guys for watching this quick update on our climber, and don't forget to check out more videos of Cranberry Alarm Ri3D on First Updates Now. Nice. No. I think it's kind of implied, showing like how, like when we did one hook and just kind of some, yeah. Oh, I could give, I didn't call out. I could call out, I didn't call out the height of this when we're fully extended. That was 30, I guess we did say it was 5 inches above the bottom of the chain. Yeah. Okay, cool.
I know, I'm waiting until.
Shit.
I'm waiting until Rachel cuts vinyl, and then I'm gonna have to iron it on, and then we'll be good to go. Good to go.
I'm going to.
All right, I'm going to worry about editing. I'll have you take care of camera, and then. What time is it?
9:40.
10:15.
10:15?
Yeah.
Oh!
What'd you say?
9:40.
Alright.
Does Rachel already have all the vinyl stuff cut, or can you cut fast?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just hoping we get it in before 11, you know? Alright, LEDs.
No.
Sponsor panel.
We're waiting for Rachel.
Already getting cut. 19.5 by like what? Stop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
Those are 12 inches. Nominal.
15. Okay, 16, so that's 8 inches. So I'm just gonna do 8 inches. 8 by 19.5.
Intake or shooter?
Intake.
Did we intake it?
I don't know where the wheels are out of place. Disabled. I feel like this is going to be.
It's a pre-match check, right?
It is, but it affects our consistency, I think, into this.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree.
You should have let me cut this face or something.
That's what I said.
It is heavy. These walk more than I expected. Alright. You're good to enable.
Enabling. Have thoughts on the angle or the ejection speed? Seems like ejection speed needs to be a little bit faster.
You know, we should just use the shooter and see if we can get it consistent.
Sure, I'm good with that.
I think
In that case, give me a.
I was saying it doesn't really matter how we intake for the
For
shooter.
the shooter? No, I would say not. Am I roughly centered?
Yeah.
Do you think I should be all the way back like this?
All the way back like what?
Back with my bump. I mean, we've got to have the bumpers back against the thing, right?
Yes.
Okay. Check shooter speed. I think it's too fast.
We were at like 8 or 12 last time.
This is 8. I guess it would be more.
Do you have to go to speed rather than power?
It would be more consistent. But first we gotta just get it in.
Yeah.
More. Just 10.
We're in the round.
What'd you say?
We're in the round.
I want to hit 9.
What?
I'm gonna try to hit 9. 9.
It might be worth it to make the shooter speed mode.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
Whoa.
Because speed control or no?
No speed control currently.
I think with speed control, we might get good.
I agree.
You have speed. We have speed control already for the climbers. You can port it over to the shooter.
Are you all committed?
Let me check. Yes. I am all committed.
Oh, definitely low.
There you go. Yeah. Just pull it to the bottom. Oh.
Please don't die. I need you.
Oh yeah, I didn't tell you. The robot was on when we got here.
Lamau. Is this the same battery?
No.
Wow, we're.
We're so last night.
Our brains are fried. There's no gear ratio.
Correct?
So what's some weird input lag on
On your what?
that?
Oh no.
Maybe on the lag. Oh, I need all of that. I need both left and right.
Are you changing the shooter to always speed control? If the answer is yes, that's fine. Okay.
And we can state what RPM we're shooting at for the videos. We're not up to date?
With what?
Oh.
Did you pull?
Oh, you separated out my constants.
Oh yeah. Just sorry.
You're good.
Yeah, I totally can do that. When a bar gets here, put a bunch of these hooks on it. One misses, who cares?
Do it.
Put a bunch of hooks, like 1, 2, 3, and you just run in. And if you miss one, and you miss your outside one, it's fine. You get the next one.
Yeah. Yeah, certainly.
What's a reasonable increment for RPM? Per shooter?
200.
I'm talking about the buttons that increase and decrease.
Yeah, you have it down?
5 RPM?
Dude, you're talking in the thousands. Like full speed is 6,000 RPM.
Yeah, but we're talking 8% to 12%.
No.
Start at like, or 10, just do 10. If it's too fast, we'll go.
So negative 6,000 to 6,000?
We don't want the shooter to go negative.
You're clamping. From
Sure.
negative.
So from 8% Corey to 12% is 220. So I think 50 RPM is good increment.
50?
50, 50.
Okay, I'll do 50. I think I'm close. Just make sure. The only things I'm changing are adding constants.
All LEDs or no?
I would like to, yeah. I'm putting in all the code right now for them.
Okay. How do you want them attached?
Zip tie C pads, basically.
Okay.
So where?
You want underglow? Underglow?
I was just gonna run it along basically along all the tubes. So like,
Yeah, we could throw it.
drivetrain,
We can come
up
drop it in.
one set of the shooter bars, across and back down, something like that.
Yeah. In this tube, into this tube, down here.
I wouldn't even run it in the tube. Run on the outside.
Okay.
Because there's stuff in the tube nuts that are in there.
There's
Right.
nothing. There's nothing in this tube. Just a bolt.
Sure. Maybe we run through that one.
Changes, constants, so I think we're ready to run. The PID might have to get tweaked slightly and just such to use the values from the bottom.
Sure. Did you deploy?
Yep.
Are you putting out the shooter speed?
Yes, the
Shooter
glass.
speed RPM.
And the set point is now RPM too.
Alright, enabling.
Alright, so we're oscillating P's too high. Hey, Corey, can you do me a favor? Order of magnitude lower.
Can you pull it?
I don't have your code. Did you commit?
No.
If you just commit to push, I can go from there. But
Samantha, can I get you out for a second? Yep. Investigating for my team.
okay, did you change the order of magnitude as well? Alright, 001, so we went 0001.
Yeah. Oh, we're 1 to 1. of sense. We had a 12 reduction in the gearbox on the other one, so it would.
It would be an order of magnitude, and so.
You can easily go up and down.
Especially coming in here now, so
Not the point.
1, 2, 3, 6. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. So you know that it went like 33 and then went down to 30. It didn't seem to move that much.
Yeah, so that means it's interesting because if you grab it and your robot pushes up against that, you can effectively move the chain this way, you know, manipulate where it is in space. I see what you're saying. So you don't have to climb, like you build a climber, you don't have to build, like it's not like a rigid bar, you don't have to climb with it. Like you're a fixed distance.
Yeah. You can make it wherever you want. Like if you had a robot that came in from under, pushed the bar out, and then like deployed some mechanism to ride along the wall,
Yeah.
you could do that.
Yeah.
That way the chain is stitching you against the wall. You don't even have to see either.
I'm really sold on elevators that can do this for me. That can like it's a shooter that's low, and then it can elevate up, and then that'll be really effective for here. For here,
Yeah.
shoot in, and then also when we go to climb, we're here.
Yeah.
Alright, can I enable again? Enabling. Spinning up.
That looks like 50.
Set to 200. We don't care if it's wrong, right? As long as it's consistent.
Yeah, keep
Put it at 400. What were you running percent V at?
0.8 or 8.
0.8
Or 8.
yeah. Okay. So that's gonna be 440.
Okay, but it's set like where we are.
Like 900. And trying to be at 2000.
Oh, B!
Double it.
This is probably going to be too much.
Well, I'm running to see if we gear this down. This is 1-to-1. We could run 3. What percentage power are we running on the subwoofer?
60.
60.
What power do you think we would need
Hey.
if we optimize an angle that we could shoot farther away from?
I personally don't think you're going to shoot more than like the red line away. Just because the goal appears to be so small after that.
So you're shooting at 60% speed. That means we can do a 10-to-6 ratio.
I
Right?
don't even need a ratio is what I'm saying.
No, I'm saying do a 10-to-6 ratio so you can accelerate faster. Then, can you shoot the game? Can you get up to speed with the game piece in and your
Oh,
The
sure.
more torque.
yeah, you get more torque, but you're still reaching the same
Enabling.
velocity.
We're oscillating a little bit, but what is our difference?
Set to 800. Actual 600. That's mine.
Keep going. Alright, so drop it back down. We can now try and find a speed.
Yep.
And then if we tune later, we know what speed.
Set to 500. We don't really care what the actual speed is, right? Versus set speed.
We don't care what the set speed is.
As long as
versus-
it's consistent.
Yeah.
So this is 500.
Right?
Too high.
That was close.
Oop, my bad.
Yeah,
Rick is
maybe.
calling me 1 second.
Try one more lower.
Hello? Reese is coming to help. Alright, right. Alright, what was the question? That is 400. And we were at 500. Too low. So we need 450. Here's 450.
I don't know what just happened.
Why is the arm moving?
Let me watch. Don't know. This is solid though.
We need like 475.
The arm is getting pushed down?
Oh, and PID is angry.
I don't know. Okay. It doesn't happen every time.
Oh, my bad. I think we need like 475. I'm gonna change the increment to 25. Is that in the shooter code or robot?
Wait. Oh, robot. How did you feed forward? Spark max. Shooter.
You know what? Yeah.
Oh.
Oh?
You just change feed forward until they equal each other.
Oh, sure.
I'm not setting feed forward right now. But they said P should be doing like tiny adjustments. Feed forward should be carrying.
That would make sense. Do you have feed forward implemented?
No, but it's just a set. Where I set the PI and D, there's a set FF.
How'd it go?
Force, like 450 is pretty good. We got 6 in a row.
Alright, let's do interval of 25.
What? I don't know what you're talking about.
Interval of 25.
I did
That's-
that already.
That's what he was doing, but we're talking about other things.
Where?
You're gonna do again. I'll set that up.
You're fine. What's the PID controller? In the shooter?
Yep.
There's another one?
I don't have a constant for it because it's set up.
Shooter PID is set. Gain.
And then that would be a constant. And this person said, for reference, their feed forward was .00000481. That sounds ridiculously small. So 5 zeros,
2, 3, 4, 5.
and then a 5.
Okay, sure. Maybe we can start there.
Make sure you do it to the other side too.
Yep.
And then remove all P.
Remove P?
Make it 0.
First few semicolons.
You made a 25 increment. I want to test. I want to make sure that we're getting relatively near our set point low down and relatively near high up, and we care about both ranges.
Yeah. What time are we doing the live show? Noon?
11:45 is when he wants us.
So an hour.
Yep.
We need to get cutting vinyl and bumpers and stuff then. I've tried to play this, I would talk to Rachel.
I can rap fast, so.
She's here. Talking to us.
Yep. Alright, it's deployed.
Okay.
Enabling. Oops.
Got more. You have to rebound.
We are not moving at all.
So that's too small. They could have a gearbox on theirs.
Yep.
Alright. 100 times.
This is the first time I've had a proper breakfast.
In ages. Enabling.
Let's switch from HBC.
HVAC?
Much less.
Yeah,
to
eight,
JPEG.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna upload a test video to.
JPEG. JPEG's an image file.
Oh no, sorry, H264.
Yeah, 264 will definitely
Or
work
I'm
better.
reading wrong.
Yeah, Premiere has
Yeah,
issues with HVAC files.
Yeah.
Or it
so-
can, it doesn't always, it can have issues with HVAC.
Yeah, so I don't think there's a difference between the three videos, but I uploaded just a very short
Enabling.
test if you're curious.
Okay.
If the new format works.
You cut a link control.
We're a little faster than desired. It's at 310 and we're at 400 RPM.
How does it do in the higher ranges? Like when we blow to actually do that? That's what we're doing.
We know it's shooting, like shooting, we're just gonna shoot through.
What RPM was that? Like set point 2,200. We need to remember that for the code.
Like that?
Yeah. 2,500. Okay. Write that down.
Yeah. Transparent.
Too fast? So,
For this? Too fast.
Solid.
Go try to go back to like
Okay,
where were we at? 450? 425?
bumper,
Actual,
tallest
we
dimension
wanted
is 460,
475.
and then the rest of the image should
this is
drive
480,
itself.
490.
So I'll go with like 3.75.
No, you should buy
Can I
it.
go for it? It won't curve over?
Okay, what was our key value previously?
005. 0005.
drive around, do some shenanigans, pick it up.
What happened there?
Don't know. Pulse. Okay.
Do we need a little bit more juice?
We need to add P back in. An order of magnitude lower than it was.
Alright, I should do that enable again because I don't
Very
know that.
Yeah, it's pretty warm. There we go. No, it was down more.
Oh, sure. Alright, add feedback, but not as big as it was, right?
Order of magnitude smaller. Feed forward is carrying our gain.
Yep.
We only want to be acting on the area. He will actually take feed forward and bring it down to the desired as well, I think. It should.
Yeah, because our air will be high. It'll be overshooting air.
Yeah.
Alright, I can enable whenever.
Shutter speed.
Alright, go for it.
Enabling. We think it's around 450, right?
Yeah.
That's 475. 475 actual, that is.
Sometimes the intake just takes a lunch break. Like, what is it doing? It looks like the PID cuts, it drops, and then it cuts back up.
Is the force of adjusting the rate, the note affecting it?
That's what I'm thinking, but like, it's so inconsistent with where the board,
Maybe it's. One second, I gotta do it.
with where the note is and what. I know this one goes too far. Ooh, okay. Maybe like a touch more, and then we just call it good. We can show how it works, even if it doesn't. Don't disable.
What?
Don't disable afterwards.
I bet you said please disable, and I was like, no, our value. It's set to 420, actual 5. Okay.
So set it to like a little bit more.
Okay.
Do we want to have buttons for those?
I was just gonna we'll start off like 3-set points. There's off, big shoot, amp shoot, off, something like that.
Use get pressed.
Correct. Yeah, that's a good point.
What can we be doing? I'm gonna get my coffee.
I should do actually. No, that's fine. I need to get a leg break anyway. Thank you, though.
Okay, well, they're on break. I didn't see if it was getting stuck like this, or if we have it before going like this. I think this is on our assembly. Here, it's catching on the field wall. Here, our cardboard only goes down so far, so I don't think it would get stuck in the actual thing. So I don't think that's a worry. Or it's not accurate what we have here really.
What?
Alright.
Oh, yeah, my bad, my mama, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you know me.
Okay, this is too short. I hope we have one that's long enough.
Too short for full? All the way around? Yeah. I think that's what Andy said when he gave it to us.
It was like, it's gonna be too short.
Where'd you get that bumper from?
This is the bumper, this is the old project.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
It's got 1741 on it.
Dude, look.
Oh yeah. Good? Actually, 2 feet. I didn't know we just turned other bumpers inside out, man.
Yeah, that's why it was the bad. You're not supposed to use that side of the fabric.
I kind of liked it. much better. But it was kind of slick. Like,
those like really nice shears that we use. I love using those like really.
these?
No. They're like Milwaukee branded.
This is Milwaukee.
No, they're different. They're closer to scissors than shears.
Okay.
Here, got it.
Yeah.
Oh, they're not Milwaukee branded, but still.
Are you sure? It looks like a Milwaukee.
There's a difference in the office controller because not recording pretty good.
Oh, I need to cut the flip off the side. Does that ring a bell?
Yep.
Where's my knife when I need it, man?
Free speed is 6,000 RPM. So if we want to hit 60%, we're at 3,600. I'm running the shooter again, just FYI. I'm not, because it's not enabling.
I think that sounds right.
We're at 3,700 RPM.
Okay.
Okay, let me commit my code since we've made a bunch of changes.
Yep. So, were you saying just like in the belly pan around?
In the belly pan around, we could run it up, like up the shooter vertical and down and across or something. I mean, I just routed whatever, right? Set message working speed control for a shooter.
I think that wraps up all of our controls ones. Make sure auto.
Oh yeah, we should do that first for sure.
Auto is different now.
Yep.
I'm gonna unplug this.
I should only have to change.
Yeah.
Oh, you changed the shooter task to set speed?
Set RPM.
Set speed? Oh, so I'd be using speed.
Oh no. It's set speed, but the parameter is RPM. So I broke all of your previous references.
Okay, that's fine. There's only one other reference, I believe. Yep, only one other reference. And because of the amazing auto code, it's literally going to be like one line.
I was only thinking about robot. I wasn't thinking about.
No, you're good?
I say we just leave the climbers up to start pulling down. It makes pre-match way easier.
Yeah.
It's literally the least consequential thing I can do. Talking about it.
It'd be really easy in auto to just auto intake them down too if you had like limit switches, which you'd want anyway on the climber.
Definitely would.
Alright, auto enabling. 3, 2, 1. Dude, such an aggressive stop now.
Yeah.
I want to run it again.
You want to run it again?
Mm-hmm. Okay, please. Enabling in 3, 2, 1. Good call.
Can I help you, Reese? I'm going to plug you in and then leave.
Yep, that's fine.
Reese.
Yep.
There's one, I think, under. Oh, this isn't gonna work.
Why? Wrong pin order?
Ground is on the end, but signal is in the middle, it's not on the video.
Can I take this and fix it for right here? It's right here,
Yeah.
accessible?
Yeah, but go
There's
for it.
one, Reese, in the
There's
cabinet.
two right there.
Needs a little more still. Volts. Middle, ground, signal. You're plugged in properly.
Okay. Thank you. Watch out for the LEDs, just FYI. Yo.
We got the rainbow. The RGB.
RGB.
You saw that stable gun, right?
Yeah, I got it already. Let's go ahead and clear off this corner of the field. Just kind of get the whole area clear.
About what LEDs we're using and what we're using to control them. Oh my god. Yeah.
Oh, you guys seem all fancy, huh? Working on it.
Wow, look at that glow. Let's focus on this for a bit.
There's no halfway about it. You just got a full swing.
Yeah. What LEDs are you using? What are you using to control them?
Okay, well, let me look real quick. I'll have to have Tyler post a link. They're pretty generic, honestly. So there's a LED driver called the WS2812B, and they're the individually addressable pixels. You can get all sorts of brands and flavors of them, different lengths and things. Importantly, we are just using the Rio to drive them. So there are third-party LED drivers. I've never used them. I can't really comment on them at all, but we are specifically using 5-volt LEDs, and they're directly controlled from the PWM outputs of the Rio. So nothing fancy at all. You can literally just go to Amazon. I'll put in chat the brand or the driver of the LED, but like I said, you can get different kinds of strips. One thing that we found last year, we used Red Alert used a totally unshielded LED strip, and what we found is some of the copper contacts on the back could short circuit against the frame. And some of the LEDs were having some issues with grounding as well. So this year for Cranberry Alarm, we decided to go with a IP67 version. And basically what that is, for those of you who don't know, it's a water and dust resistant rating. Basically it has a silicone jacket around the whole thing. Obviously we don't need the waterproof and dustproof features of it. But it does completely isolate the LEDs from the drivetrain and everything. So I would say that's pretty important to think about. This particular set of LEDs, you can cut between pixels if you want different lengths and things. So you can make different strips. It's pretty easy to wire too. They have nice copper pads between the LEDs. So if you cut there, you can solder just the regular like PWM 3 wires. To get control of them there. And then the control is really easy. there's a tutorial on the WPI Lib docs about addressable LEDs, and they go over how to do some basic patterns like a rainbow kind of thing like this, and just setting them solid colors and stuff. But then in addition, you can check out our GitHub for some of the custom functions we've written to kind of like help abstract away some of the fancier things so that it's just easy to give some special effects to it.
Have we currently weighed the robot with everything that's attached now?
No, not right now. Climbers added probably like 10 pounds, 15 pounds. We were at 75.
65.
65. So we're probably sitting around 80, 85. No bumpers or battery.
Those LEDs look almost even cooler on stream. Like a cool level.
They're pretty sweet to see in a match.
Yeah.
Yeah, no joke.
We're just getting more on the way back to the stack.
Yeah.
Reese, do I need to be helping you? LEDs are not high priority.
Hey Reese, they asked if you need help with the LEDs.
What?
I'm saying LEDs are not high priority. Do you need help?
You take them. They're all you. I'm on bumpers.
I don't think you understood. That's
Strike that, reverse it.
Yeah, that one.
I think you just got delegated to.
okay. I'm fine with that. Too tired to really understand or care. That's how it be. I think this is going to be perfect though. I'm calling it now. I know when stuff fits.
Yeah.
This one's like, we should probably clean up this corner. Which is true.
Cleaning up the corner is 5 minutes and throwing stuff over the wall.
I am not sure.
Yeah, no, don't worry about it.
Or,
Just-
is it twice?
oh.
A few minutes before we start, I think you guys should go over and write down specifically what you want to cover. Just little sleeping stuff makes it easy to kind of miss stuff. So I just recommend that you do that and actually write it down to make sure you cover everything.
We can bring out one of the rolling whiteboards again
Yeah,
and just
yeah.
write on there.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Can I run the intake now? Like, are you clear for now?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna try then to deploy and check some new code out.
Or change.
What? Actually useful LED colors, like for seeing across the field what things are happening. Because honestly, that's an actually huge thing for driving. All right, I'm going to enable. All right, shootings. I'm going to spin up the shooter. Low speed shooter. Stop. And then we ground in, take out. Can you give me a note?
Oh.
Let's go.
Wait, so is it red if we don't have one, green if we do, and it's stopped?
I just set it to green when we hit the auto intake thing.
Okay. So when we shoot, we reset it.
We'll shoot to, yeah. So
Or what is out?
eject does nothing right now.
I'm saying like what keeps it from staying green after we complete a cycle.
We're gonna spin up the shooter, and as soon as you, when you stop the shooter,
It goes red.
it goes red, which is the default, just like the breathing.
Okay. Oh, it is breathing. Didn't notice.
Yeah, it's a little hard to tell. I can intensify it.
No,
Or we do chase instead. Chase is kind of cool.
How'd the amp do, by the way?
it was okay.
Comment on that. That's something that we want to improve. That this is not very good at the amp.
I think the two things you can say is we didn't spend a whole ton of time tuning it, but we believe that it could be tuned, as well as like tuning the shooter. Okay, intake is only voltage control, so it could be speed control and be more consistent. The pivot PID could be better. We didn't spend a whole ton of time tuning that, and then also we could apply like surgical tubing to bias the pivot one way to get rid of some of the variability.
Write that down.
Write that down. Write that down.
All right, I'm gonna go wheel out a whiteboard so that we can write all of the stuff we've been talking about down.
That one's straight. This is actually straight.
Do we get the bumpers done?
Or, no, we're working on it right now.
Okay.
Is there another one?
All right, I'm gonna go get that whiteboard.
Crappy zip tie just broke without losing the quiet voice. Savage. guitar riff?
Yo!
The 10%, the 10-second application is only good until 4 notes is scored. What? Yeah.
So you can't stockpile.
Actually, that's lame. I'm like, you remember the whole point? Wait. You're telling me the amplify is good for 10 seconds or 4 notes for the way.
Okay. Stockpile.
Yeah, but that's like the strategy.
Yeah, it includes like counterplay, right?
Yes.
No, because I mean, you're pointing the amp to 1 point.
Yeah, you sacrifice 2 points.
So you're sacrificing 4 points.
Yeah.
Wait, are we gonna have a sponsor panel?
Yeah, that's what they're making.
Dude, we're doing all the things.
Alright, so what things are we going to talk about? Broad strokes, drivetrain.
We can talk about how we got the kickstart by taking it from Rattlesnake,
Yep.
our bot last year. And that we highly recommend teams in the future have a drivetrain to start off the season, so it's easier to prototype.
Alright. Intake.
Tried out 2 designs. Thrifty Poly. And then, what do you call the style intake we have now?
Just roller bar?
Yeah, roller bar like last year for cone intake.
What else about the intake? Limit switch. Limit switch, auto pickup.
Yeah, it's
Well-
helpful to know whenever you have positive control from across the field.
Yep.
That way you don't need human player signals specifically to tell you when you have the piece. You just see the lights and go.
Oh god, just saw a screw. The one you were making a TP earlier.
Sag.
Okay. Anything else key for the intake? I mean, we can talk about the pivot, but we're going to talk about that anyway.
Yeah, you can say. I want to talk about how our polybelt one would have required activation methods to get it inside of the frame.
Required what? Oh,
Activation
just like
method to get it inside the frame.
okay.
And we decided rather than having that mechanism and a mechanism for what's it called?
Yeah, for moving the note and getting that in and out, we unified it into a single mechanism. We identified the fact that you can only have one game piece as a consideration and a boon towards a unified mechanism, since you don't have to have like sequential game pieces or anything.
Yeah.
All right. After intake. Shooter. about shooter?
We should just go by our priorities. Picking up off the ground was like number one, then it was shooting into the speaker.
Yep.
So, yeah, we should talk about the angle that we required, the compression that we tested, the wheels we're using. It's 1-to-1.
Alright, anything else for the shooter? We'll talk about controls. I do think that is a separate, like, line item, just controls things.
Yeah. We should have an overview and say, like, our robot weighs this much, has this many motors.
Yep. That's in the beginning, right?
Yeah. And it has what we consider 3 mechanisms, or 3 subsystems.
Alright, special things about the climber. Like that we might miss.
So what?
We wish we would have thought more about mounting methods earlier in the
Yeah.
design process. And that was the hardest part. But that getting up onto the chain using the Thrifty bot was pretty dang easy.
If you order more than 24 notes from any mark, you're getting back orders. You're getting 24
Okay. Anything else about the climber? I mean, we'll go over the whole thing, but things that we might forget about or something.
They added the final 40-second
Yeah, guitar
right
riff.
there too.
They're like 20 minutes behind, again. Alright.
Climber.
Alright.
I think so.
Okay, I'm gonna pause there.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Oh, auto. Well, that's under controls things.
They max the applications for it?
Yep, at 4 pieces, which is, in my opinion, real dumb.
They're gonna have to go back on that by the time Worlds comes around.
No.
No, they're intentionally not. Like,
They'll up it at Worlds, but
It's like 6.
maybe.
no, I bet it doesn't change.
I think you hit D chance because people that were like already able to read 5.
How do LEDs look?
Good. Are they in anything? Like, they look to be routed well. I just want to make sure.
Great question. I just moved the intake to double check that.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I kind of want to just do a full check real quick.
Yeah. I unplugged the pivot motor. Let me plug it back in.
Yep, that's the kind of thing I want to check for. And then we clean up stuff here.
Okay. They just
Kevin, do you want to start helping clean up?
Yep.
Like basically on anything on this half of the field, like vacuum, these random stuff, everything like that. I don't have comms. Did you hit the radio?
How about that?
It's not up yet. Okay, we're good. Picture of your what?
My dog.
No.
Okay. So she's a 76-pound boxer Rottweiler mix,
Uh huh.
and it is scared of something in the backyard.
Enabling. We're so much more fifty without bumpers.
Yeah. You want to try an air suction? Yeah. That's just how it's going to be.
We'll show it a couple times, and I mean, sometimes it'd be like that.
Yeah.
This is empty, so I'm sliding this backpack a little bit, Corey.
Okay.
That about everything.
You want to try climb real quick?
Yeah. I do.
I'd like to just go all the way down first. Good. Seems good.
Woo-wee! Cooking. Was cooking, good looking.
Can we do the high points too?
Nope, not worry about it.
Alright, I'm gonna all breeze.
Yep. You wanna?
Yeah. If there's somebody already on there, are we gonna be able to climb?
Yes. We can climb way sideways. You just want to grab all these tools and the spare 2x4 and stuff. You gonna move? We will. Yes.
Do you need the zip ties and the
You can just bring them right out of the camera.
okay.
this is fun. This right here.
I didn't pull it up.
It's not a wheel.
What?
It's not a wheel.
It's
Is it there?
Oh, sorry. Can I have this?
yeah.
Some people.
Nope. We just go off through with Corey, and I mean, obviously we've got general things, all the stats, motors, stuff for all the systems, but these are things we wanted to remind ourselves of. Sweet.
Morning.
Almost got
Yeah, is it?
I where did us driving from over here in this corner like we've done, like we did last night. Good. Okay.
Yeah, and if you guys want to run a couple cycles from
Yeah.
yeah, we'll do that too. So
Sounds good.
yeah, pretty much wherever you want to go is we'll work around and follow it.
Okay.
Move to a place where I will not be seen by camera.
Word. How are our computers doing? This is the new battery?
I don't know.
Okay.
I haven't changed it.
Asking about the one on the ground?
No, that battery is not. That is the. I'm assuming it's not because it's been sitting back there, and that's the battery I grabbed when I changed the battery.
All right.
A day and a half ago.
You want to grab the battery?
Yeah, I can grab you the battery.
Thank you.
Samantha, are you going to do questions or in-house? Okay.
Just so you know, from at least previous years, this tends to be the biggest out of any of the
Live
recap,
events.
any of the recap videos. It won't be from live, but
Sure.
archive afterwards. This will do more than the reveal video and stuff like that. Just based on because for us we document so much that the reveal video isn't as important compared to other things who don't make anything or only a couple of videos.
Sure.
So this last year I think got the most out of any of the
Cool.
daily recaps.
Is your laptop charged?
Probably enough. We don't need it anymore.
Okay. I just want to make sure that.
Hey, Jeff, you are watching live. Get as many team members as you possibly can on for the live demonstration. This will be about a 30-minute. Of course, we'll be grabbing questions, a couple giveaways coming up too. But yeah, get everybody in if they can. We know for many it's middle of the day, but for those on the other side of the world, thanks for joining us. We're so excited to have you. And if you don't get a chance to watch this live, don't worry. We will archive all this to our YouTube channel. And that will be up probably about 2 or 3 p.m. Eastern. So a couple hours from now. We'll make sure we get all that up. So people who can't watch live, you'll get that opportunity still. Or you can rewatch it again. But yeah, so about 10 minutes we'll be starting with that. And like I said, we got questions to take at First Updates now during the show itself when it starts. And we'll get to as many questions as possible for y'all. We know there's going to be a lot. Or hopefully a lot. We love questions. So. But new stuff, by the way, if you're just joining us, climbers are on the rig, a couple Thrifty Bot climbers. We did a 2-note autonomous, which is so cool. And then we'll be doing full cycles and runs as well, too, from the, I forget what the human player drop zone is called, but the source, yeah, that's right. That's very thematically named. I like that. Yeah. Woohoo!
Where's my 3.5?
Yeah. I'm an XLR man myself. But,
AD plug? Yeah. Where's my red, white? My red, white, yellow? Sub 6 minutes. That's weird. It goes.
Show starts in 5 minutes.
No, we're just gonna gaff tape it on.
Okay.
I literally looked for any kind of adhesive thing.
I'm not with that. What's being gas taped? Oh yeah, sorry, I moved your guys' chairs.
Chat, about 5 minutes we'll be starting the live show. About 5 minutes. Any people come in, let them know. About 5 minutes.
He put on. He put T.
What did he say?
He said my marker got pulled up. Oh yeah, we can't change the battery range yet. There yet?
No, we haven't named it. Not officially. Ice cream sandwich is popular.
Ice cream sandwich. What was it fueled by this year? What did you guys eat like all the time?
Well, we had ice cream sandwiches. If that's anything to do with it.
Well, I only say that because the year we did it at Super Duper's through IPUI, there's a Popeyes across the street from the school, and that's all we ate for 3 days was Popeye chicken sandwiches. So we named the robot Popeye.
We ate ice cream sandwiches, and I think it has something to do with the shooter and how it's 2 halves. And it looks like there's a light taken out of it.
Oh, cool.
That can really be a B-roll thing if it needs to be.
Yeah,
Oh, these are clean. They feel clean. You first.
You're gonna be tired. Alright, I'm going down all the way down, and you go all the way down. You might have to hit hard. I'm good. Hit, just punch it. Punch it and hit it and get the process. Yeah, harder, harder. Is this in?
What's this roll? Oh, that rolled up.
Get your side in. What's going on?
You push down.
Okay, watch out. Bent that bolt, who cares?
It's on there, so.
Alright, nuts.
They were on the ground.
Oh, got more?
Nope. One.
Alright, go grab more, put that on, Corey.
2.
I'm dropping it right
2,
there. It's right next to
3.
the blue tape. I'm grabbing one more.
Can you take the tape off the back? We'll just go to your sponsor panel for the review video.
Are these stuck together?
Yeah, I think that's
gonna work.
Yeah.
Taking your tape off. Is that okay?
Yep.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
Nope.
I didn't hear what you
Not the right thread.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
I checked all of them.
No, these two that I found
No.
just sitting on the ground, they're not the right threads.
Corey, how many do you have?
2 on the back.
Do you have one more?
Yeah,
You have one in your hand?
Nope.
You remember that spare 45?
We don't need that, Reese. We're good.
Be sure.
Yeah.
I have one more Reese on the field.
Oh, no,
whenever you guys came zooming in, you just kicked my file.
So we're going to be doing full
All good?
cycles.
Yep.
I'm just gonna put this here.
So,
This is plugged in.
and so in general, you can move around, but when they're doing like full cycles, in general, just kind of keep it here and just pan.
Yeah.
And then you can just zoom in a little bit more. I don't want you like running full field or anything like that.
You'll give him player, I can run to you. That way I'll be over here to talk whenever I need to. How bumpers look?
That will be starting in about 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Okay.
They're actually legit.
With bumper
They're
clearance?
super smooth, nice folds.
You're kind of in
I
frame there,
wanted
but
two,
I'll move it. It's
two
fine.
corners.
yeah, if
corners,
you
like
go.
one here, and that makes it really smooth. Avoids this.
Oh, good.
But
What's the order that we're doing? Which one you guys are gonna talk and then run a full field?
I just don't want to be in the way.
Tyler.
Yeah.
Do you have a thought on order of things, order of like running the robot, talking about it? You want to mix it up, like talk about the system, run things?
Let's do a brief overview.
Okay.
And then run a couple cycles. Run a couple cycles, then we'll break down kind of each system one at a time, and then we'll do some more demos after that.
Okay. So brief overview, Reese or Corey, which one do you want to do that?
I can do the overview.
Okay.
And we'll go over every subsystem.
So let's do just a general broad thing of the robot. So like, hey, these are some key features of the
We're
robot,
going to be
right?
focusing ground intake. We're going to have a fixed shooter at 60 degrees. It's going to be shooting into the subwoofer. And we plan to be climbing and have the ability to just climb onto the chain.
We're doing amp with the shooter, by the way.
Yeah.
Reese.
The robot can score.
And then so once you get done doing that, like I said, take like maybe 3 minutes as a brief overview, right? Like an elevator pitch sort of thing. When that's done, let's run a few different cycles, whatever you guys want to run. And then after that, and we're obviously gonna have some questions along the way, but then after that, then start to pick apart each area and show them. And so if you're talking about intake, then let's focus more on intake related tasks and showing that off.
Okay.
So on and so forth.
10 Neos,
10 Neos.
8 1.1s, 2 of the new
A
ones.
decent amount of people on right now for being middle of the day. So.
So you said you wanted to start with a brief overview, and then immediately after that brief overview, go a little bit deeper into each subsystem.
Let's do brief overview, run a couple cycles.
Full field?
Whatever you guys want.
Let's
for that.
Let's do full field cycles. Just trying to show the speed of the robot.
And then we'll go into specifics, and I'll kind of hold off on questions until you guys go into specifics.
Okay, perfect.
So full field first.
Full field first.
Overview,
I think we'll go bottom to top through the robot.
Yeah, whatever works best. Whatever you guys want to go with, whatever you prefer is totally fine. So. All right.
Let me make sure we're connected and everything. Joysticks in the correct
Can you switch
order.
over to handheld?
Yep.
Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Hey chat, we'll be starting in just a moment. Bear with us. Don't forget, we are very close to 20,000 subscribers on Fun's YouTube channel right now. We are 28 away. So hit that subscribe button. If we do reach that 20K threshold, we'll do an extra giveaway, some fun merch and apparel. And we have some new stickers that are going to be game specific coming out that we're going to do giveaways for too. We don't have them yet, but we'll give those away as well. So we'll be starting in just a moment. We have a lot to cover, by the way, so we're going to be holding off on questions for a little bit. Once we start getting to specific subsystems, then we'll start grabbing questions on areas. So I'm just going to tell everybody now that we're probably not going to get to your questions for about 7 minutes or so as we do an overview of the robot, show some scoring cycles, then we're going to go into specific mechanisms, and then we'll grab questions from there. And of course, we also have giveaways from AndyMark and the Thrifty Bot as well. Yep, I'm recording on the stream one, so do that. Let me make sure I am. I'll double check.
Jordan?
Yep.
Corey. Reese. Corey.
10.4 to 1.
10.45 to 1.
Kevin, you want to talk? I talk in
Kevin's the Cranberry Alarm moderator. Yeah, so that's what I was saying. When we
Talking and retrieving. I talk to people in chat.
I'm surprised there's not about Kevin fan club this year.
By the way, big shout out to Nathan. Thank you so much for becoming a Fun member, by the way. If you don't know, Get on YouTube, join. It supports our creators. 100% of those proceeds go to our content creators. And our fun members actually get early access to some of our videos, and you get to use the emotes on chat too. So thanks a lot, Nathan. Appreciate that.
There's definitely more than 28 of you in chat.
Nathan, if you hit the integration on Twitch, it should automatically integrate for you, but if not, send me a DM. Sorry.
What are we calling this? The
Robot overview.
Robot overview.
Robot overview.
I'm gonna get in here.
Yep.
Everybody ready?
Want me to start again?
I can go
You
start.
start.
Yeah.
Whenever you're ready, you guys can do it.
Awesome. Hey everyone, this is Team Cranberry Alarm here. I'm Reese, and we're coming at you with the 2024 Crescendo Robot Overview. So I'll go ahead and just kind of give a little brief overview to start the robot. Kind of go over some key points that this robot does, some features of it, and whatnot. So to start, we have a 6-inch, 6-wheel tank drive using the AM14U4 chassis that comes in the kit of parts. Our drive base is 26 by 28. And then our intake is completely, almost entirely focused on the ground. So we mainly focus on picking up game pieces from the ground. And then we move from there and pass it off to our shooter, which is mainly to shoot up against the subwoofer. And it's at a fixed angle of about 60 degrees. And then from there, we also use the shooter to also score in the amp to allow us that versatility. And then we also use our Thrifty Bot telescoping tubes to go ahead and climb off of the chain. And that's just kind of a little brief overview of the robot. We're using in total about 10 Neos on the robot, 2 Neo Vortexes. We're using those on the shooter right here, 1-to-1. And yeah, I guess we can go ahead and start getting into the demo. So you want to go ahead and kick us off, Jordan? Perfect. We're going to do full field cycles. Do you need to operate?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to get off the field here. Okay. So this is not full drive speed right now. We are what we like to call not spicy speed. This is just kind of like our demo speed that we kind of go at. If you were running at full speed, you could be going 14 feet per second. This is going to be a full field cycle game, so it's going to be important to go full speed. So when it comes to our cycles, just go ahead and speed up this part of the video. There. Just I'm going to put 2 out here. So this is kind of what full field cycles are going to look like. There's going to be a lot of this in the game, as most game pieces are going to be focused around the sources. But there are all going to be a few game pieces that are going to be left on the field like this, and it's going to be important for us to get these ones. And this is why we think ground intake is very, very valuable. And then whenever you run out of game pieces on your side, on the close side of the field, you can merely just go ahead and head over to the opposite side of the field and go grab another game piece. So most of the systems on the robot are almost entirely automated. So if you see the intake right there kind of twitching as we drive, that's an entirely automated to kind of help center and encourage the note to kind of center itself. Awesome. So that was a pretty good demo. So from there, we'll go ahead and start talking really specifics on all of the systems.
Hey, chat, just a heads up. So as we go through these specific systems, by the way, this is where we'll start grabbing questions from chat. Please ask based on the system we are on or already have done, and you can do that by tagging @FirstUpdatesNow. You really need to tag @FirstUpdatesNow. It really helps us grab questions for everybody.
All right, so hello, it's Corey. I'm going to go over a little bit about our drivetrain. Reese already mentioned that it's an AM14U4 chassis, and we chose this because it's very versatile. It comes in the kit of part if you ask for it. It's accessible, and we believe that for this game, it's all you're going to need in order to have a competitive robot. There might be some advantages to swerve, like strafing away from defense, and also maybe lining up on the subwoofer or the amp a bit easier. However, for us and the time constraints that we have, we chose to go with this tank drive. The chassis size that we chose is 26 inches by 28 inches. All you have to cut is like 6 pieces on the AIM-14U4 chassis to get that size. And you might notice that the chassis looks similar to a robot that we had last year for Ri3D. That's because it's the exact same chassis as last year. Our robot Rattlesnake had the same size, and whenever it came to looking at the game this year, we felt that this 26 by 28 undersized frame perimeter still worked great for this game, and it's a huge boon that coming into the season, our season being 3 days, we already had a functional drivetrain, code for it, and we even had a pneumatic system on it, which is still on there. We haven't taken off, but we're not using. So just having all of that infrastructure in place off the bat to start your season is huge for prototyping. You'll notice by the end of day 1 of our Ri3D, we already had 2, I would say, very successful prototypes in showing what can and what doesn't work. And so keep that in mind for next season. Maybe have a drivetrain sitting around for prototyping.
Question coming in from Luke in chat. Are you doing a straight wheel, drop center, race center? What are you doing for the drivetrain?
Yeah, I think this is a 1/8" drop center. 1/8" drop center. We have our weight almost biased entirely over the shooter, so the shooter and the battery are on the same side, and so being drop center, we're kind of tilted that way. Gives us a nice turn radius. We're not rocking back and forth. And then we noticed that the bumpers being so low, they're an inch off the ground, they kind of act as a wheelie bar. When we were driving around without them, we were kind of taken off. I think that's all we have to say about the drivetrain, so I think we're going to move on to talk a little bit more about the intake.
Yeah, so this is, in my opinion, one of the most impactful mechanisms on the robot this year. It kind of derives basically everything that's going to happen with the robot. And so our intake is about 18 7/8 inches wide, approximately 19 inches. And really the only centering and indexing that we do is via this polycarbonate strip right here. And that just kind of helps encourage the notes to kind of come in the center. But for the main driving, we use 2 motors. We're going to be using a Neo right here for the pivot and a Neo on the drive for the intake. And Neo on the pivot is going to be on 100-to-1, and it's going to be using 2 52 steel gears to transmit that torque to this polycarbonate arm. And on that polycarbonate arm, we have a 3-to-1 ratio on a Neo that's going to be driving a belt system that's going to be entirely 1-to-1. So it's going to be one belt here to our intake wheel, then belt over to an idler axle that gears the kicker wheel that inverts the motion so that we properly pull in that game piece. And then on the pivoting, we have a couple set points right here. So this is our upright position that we kind of use for a couple other things. And our down position, so everything's kind of all automated. We can go ahead and demonstrate this real quick. And so that entire system is entirely automated. Basically what's happening right there is that when that limit switch gets kicked, that automatically pulls in. And if we're going to hold down the intake button, go ahead and go back, and we hold down the intake button, we get this pulsing effect. And we found this was really effective for this kind of encouraging the note to kind of keep itself centered. And it just helps with funneling into the shooter, and it was just really effective for us. And yeah, and that, I'll go ahead and give us some specific dimensions on this. So we're using the 2-inch Thrifty Bot squishy wheels. There's a lot of squishy wheels on the market that you can use. We're really happy with these Thrifty Bot ones. And we have about 1.75 inches in between these, so that's about a 1/4 inch of compression. And when we come down to the floor, sometimes we may get some compression here. It depends on if the intake is fully seated on the ground. It actually is not entirely necessary to get that top roller to contact. We get a little bit of contact, but the bottom roller is about, from the bottom edge of the roller, is going to be about a 1/4 inch off the ground. And that's just gonna that's going to be our kicker. That's going to pop that up, and this geometry has worked really well for us. We really haven't had any issues, and with the automated system right here, it just kind of makes our life a lot easier. So yeah, we'll go ahead and intake this game piece and then go in.
Let's grab a couple questions from chat on there. Luke, a couple hours asking, is there a sensor on the front of the intake?
Yeah, the only sensor we have on the front of the intake is, go ahead and come all the way out, is this limit. Oh. Is this limit switch right here. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. Yeah. But as soon as that limit switch is pressed, the intake comes back. And that is the only, I guess we do also have an absolute encoder right here. And that is the through-bore encoder from Rev. And that's what we use to track the position of the intake. And we are really, really happy with them. They're super robust. And yeah, couldn't be more happy with them.
Another question coming in, how much compression is on the intake?
Yeah, so we have about a quarter, when the note is in there, we have about a quarter-inch compression.
Can we talk about the amp a little bit in regards to the intake and how we're interacting with that?
Yeah, let's go ahead and head over to the amp and we'll talk about that. So this is something where we're still, learning and experimenting with. At the end of the day, we kind of decided that we're going to score the amp with our shooter, but this is kind of our amp position here. We can go and outtake and kind of see what that looks like. So it's not entirely consistent yet, but you can kind of see what it looks like. So still needs a lot of fine tuning. There is potential here for scoring. As you can see, it's getting close, just not quite going in. This is, it maybe can happen. I wouldn't be too confident with the consistency of this mechanism for the amp scoring, but that doesn't mean that it can't be done with this intake.
Have you done anything in regards to like different angles on the intake, maybe being further back or anything like that?
Yeah, we've tried out a bunch of different angles. There's a little bit of slop in this, so if you go ahead and put the it in there, I'm gonna go ahead and push it towards the front end of the slop, and now let's go ahead and intake out. And that just kind of gives us a little different position. We tried going really close to the wall and almost like we were shoving the game piece in, and that just didn't work well for us. We tried a little bit far back, and we didn't get far enough. Maybe with different geometry that lets the intake come up a little bit higher, and that way you can just drop it in. That might work really effective for us, but with this current geometry, we couldn't make it work.
And teams, a really important thing to keep in mind with Robot in 3 Days is not just showing these successes, but also areas that need improvement, things that we really want teams to focus on as you're building your robots as well too. Robot in 3 Days is all about a learning process for you and how you can help improve your robots as well. Before we move on, let's start our first giveaway, by the way. We're going to have to pan over to Jordan to model the amazing AndyMark t-shirt that we're giving away. I don't know if we're going to give away the exact one that's on Jordan's back or not, but we'll see. If you want it, let us know.
Signed and everything?
But if you are interested in winning that, we're going to reuse the keyword 20 years, 20 space years, celebrating 20 years of AndyMark superior products and service at andymark.com. So it's going to be for an AndyMark t-shirt. If you do win, please make sure you send us your all your information, including your t-shirt size, or you get extra small. So 20 years, once again, is the keyword for that. Thanks again to AndyMark for the awesome giveaway. A couple of questions coming in. By the way, have you, trap question has come up a lot, so let's grab that. Have you thought about using the intake to score on the trap?
Yeah, 100%. This is something that we looked at a lot. The big thing with the trap is the real challenge with it is how low you need to grab the chain to get it to for your chassis. So it's all about the relative. We'll go and take a look over here. It's all about the relative distance from the chain to here. So if we wanted to score there, use this to score onto the trap, we would need to get the chain basically all the way down to our chassis, and maybe even further to make it really work. And this is just something that we didn't really have the time to fully test out. There may be mechanisms that can do it really well, but for us, we settled with just climbing on the chain, and we left it at that.
How does the intake get the note off of the ground? And have you had any issues with riding up on it or anything like that? And that's S5.
Yeah, so if you check out our first initial intake video, it kind of goes over the one with the poly belts. This is where it has the exact same geometry. But basically, the main way this works is you have a kicker wheel, which is going to be your bottom wheel. And then you have your intake wheel, which it kind of helps pull in the note. And that kicker wheel is what really pulls up the note. And we really have had zero issues with this going under the intake. There may be some times where the note may get under the chassis, but that's only under specific conditions. We really have never had an issue with driving over the note with our intake, and basically anytime we touch it, it owns it. Yeah. So this is another really important thing. We played around with hard stops. Originally, we had a hard stop on our bumper. Our bumpers are way out of tolerance right now, so that wasn't really consistent. So what we added is these pieces of 1x1 right here, and then just added these polycarbonate Band-Aids on here. And those kind of help to basically give it a really nice and consistent hard stop to lay against so that going to come back down. When it's up against it, you can see it's fully mating with that surface right there, and it's tight. Like I can't go down any further there, and that just helps a lot for the consistency of this intake. And that if you're going to do a pivoting intake system like that, that's going to be really important. But you got to watch out and make sure you don't stall the motor on that.
A couple of questions coming for intake, then we'll start to move on. First, can we see a demo of it actually picking up from the ground?
Yeah, let's do it. So that entire system right there is entirely automated.
Can we drive the robot into it?
What's that?
Can we drive the robot?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's try to offset
So you can see even there we have a couple issues, but when you drive through it, it kind of picks it up a little more, and then that's where we would pulse it and get it past the shooter there.
And can we try doing it from a little more speed
yeah.
and see what happens?
Let's go ahead and back up a little bit,
back.
give us a little bit more room here. I'll go ahead and push that out a little bit. Yeah, and if you check out our original intake video, we had the robot on spicy speed at that time. Right now we're on the demo speed, so we aren't too crazy fast right now. But when on the spicy speed, we had no problem picking them up.
We're going to draw for a giveaway while this is still happening, so let's run a couple more cycles forward. And once again, 20 years is keyword for the AndyMark t-shirt giveaway. And the winner of that, congratulations to Okay, we're having some issues with Nightbot, so I apologize. But it's going to be Elvis Bivanio. Elvis Bivanio, congratulations. You have won the giveaway for this. Make sure you send First Updates Now a email, either admin@firstupdatesnow.com or fund Tyler on Discord with your shipping information and t-shirt size. Thanks again to AndyMark for that. We have a couple more giveaways to do, starting in a little bit, by the way, including something from the Thrifty Bot. We're giving away some more of those 45A diameter wheels. We'll be talking about the shooter in just a moment. And then for First Updates Now, if we reach 20,000 subscribers, which we're very close to doing, I think we're at 82. So we have another 18 more subscribers. We have an extra bonus giveaway we'll do too. So let's keep moving on. Talk about some other cool aspects of the robot.
Yeah, so one more thing I want to talk about with the intake is some challenges that we've had with this. I think we tossed it at this point, but we did have we broke a max planetary. If you go ahead and actuate it out. So we accidentally, we had some issues with some reading the value of the through-bore encoder, and what ended up happening is we ended up bringing the intake too far past its limits. And this basically, the failure point of this system was actually the mounting point of the max planetary. And this is because when you're running a 3-stage max planetary, that's a 16,000 pound stall load on a 100-to-1, and it's just not ready to hold that load. So that was just a small failure point. When we kind of made the code more robust, we have stopped running into that issue. Another issue we're running into, not too crazy, just small note. If you notice, a lot of these wheels are irregular spaced, and that's just because these wheels tend to walk. There's nothing retaining these. They're just they're just kind of held on there via compression of the material. And this works great for us, but if you're going to be doing this, maybe some spacers would be suffice if you want to really keep it consistent. But for our sake, this worked great for us.
What made you choose, by the way, a over-the-bumper intake instead of an open frame as AJ Games?
Yeah, so this year you had to have the maximum allowable bumper gap that you could have was 1/2 inch. So you really couldn't have a cutout in your bumper. So it's either over the bumper or under the bumper intake, and that's the end of the story right there. And we tried out under the bumper. And if you check out our drivetrain video where we demonstrated bumpers at different heights, the AM14U chassis actually and the U5 chassis actually both sit at around, on the 6-inch wheels, sit around 1 7/8 from the bottom to the ground to the bottom of the chassis. And this basically almost acts as like it grabs onto the note as we drive over it. So under the bumper just did not work. Over the bumper, I'm a big fan of the over the bumper. It makes the whole chassis pretty robust, and it kind of just makes things a little bit easier sometimes. So yeah, go for it.
Another thing to mention about that, whenever you have an under the bumper intake, it implies that you're going to get your entire robot kind of over the note in order to pick it up. And across the field for drivers, that's just a more difficult task. Like outside of the bumper, it's easier to see. It's easier to see like what's happening, and you don't have to sort of chase the note up against a wall just to collect it. And especially if notes are against the wall, we can still pick them up kind of coming at it at an angle, but an under the bumper intake would probably struggle with that.
We have a lot more to cover on this robot still, including the shooter mechanism climbers, which we added on, autonomous as well too. What do we want to go to next, guys?
I think it would be good to talk about the shooter a little bit more. Sure. All right, so we've already mentioned a little bit about the shooter geometry, but I'm just going to go through it again. We have a pretty detailed couple of shooter videos. We started with a prototype, which allowed us to adjust the compression we had on the note. We thought that that was a very important parameter to kind of optimize. So our final choice was 5 inches of compression on the note. So from wheel tangent on one side to wheel tangent on the other side is 9 inches. Note's 14 inches, 5 inches of compression. The wheels that we're using are the 4-inch Thrifty Bot 45 durometer solid wheels. We only have high praise for them. We picked them because they have a lot of mass. They kind of act as flywheels themselves, and it's been super helpful for accelerating the note through the shooter given only 2 wheels. That's another choice that we had. We could have gone with wheels on only one side or only 1 wheel on each side, but we chose 2 wheels on each side, belt driven one to another, because if I kind of just push the note in here, we have a lot of contact surface area with the note whenever it's going through our shooter. So we guarantee that we're going to have plenty of time to accelerate the note up to the speed of the wheels before it leaves the shooter. And we're also not going to be tearing up the note as much. If you have a super fast flywheel system and you kind of shove the note into it, I would expect that the sides of the note are going to get torn up much faster than this sort of 2-wheel approach. We didn't go with 6 wheels, 3 on each side, because we felt like that wasn't necessary. But maybe if you have smaller wheels, it would be helpful. I'll talk a little bit about the gearing and the motors that we used, if you can turn around, Jordan. So we're using the brand new Neo Vortex motors, 1-to-1 with those 4-inch wheels. The Neo Vortexes are theoretically more powerful than the Neo 1.1s, and we chose them here because they're smaller and just frankly more convenient. Since they've got that the motor controller built in, we don't have to worry about mounting a motor controller close to the shooter in order to, control everything. And so far, our experience with them has been good. The through-bore hex feature of those motors also was a huge boon for our shooter. We basically have a hex axle from the bottom of the Vortex through the shooter sandwich, and then to a belt on the other side, which is what ties the top and bottom wheels together. Again, 1-to-1. And yeah, let's do some demos of it shooting. Yeah.
And while we get that ready, we're going to start our next giveaway from our friends at the Thrifty Bot. So you might have noticed on the robot, we had those 45A black durometer urethane wheels from the Thrifty Bot. We have a couple more to give away from Thrifty Bot. So if you're interested in doing that, type type very thrifty in chat. Very thrifty is your keyword. And don't forget our subscribers get an extra 3x luck in order to win.
So right now, those Neo Vortexes are spinning at around 3,800 RPM. That's a speed that we found to be pretty consistent for firing the notes straight up against the subwoofer. And as you can see, a 60-degree angle on the shooter, we're like barely clearing the bottom of the driver's station wall, which we feel like gives us the best chance of the note hitting the shroud and bouncing in rather than out. Since we have a symmetrical robot, we can kind of park anywhere along that front face and shoot it in. But if we want to shoot from the side of the subwoofer, we have to offset ourselves kind of similar to the kitbot in order to make sure that the notes aren't going to bounce out. As you can see, we don't have the full shroud here, so we're kind of guessing whether these are going to go in or not. That's testing in the future, which we would like to do whenever we have more resources to build a shroud. But as you can see, if we get closer into the corner, the side of the subwoofer, we really just don't make the note in.
Let's grab a couple questions from chat while we're going through, and we'll keep doing a few more cycles. So coming in from Worth, what made you have a pivoting intake and still a shooter over having a still intake and pivoting shooter?
That's a great question. We felt like a fixed shooter was going to be the easiest way with our time constraints to, build out our robot, and then having some sort of manipulation path to get the note there. It was just a split-second choice probably from the beginning of from Saturday, and it's what we ended up on.
So another great question, by the way, from Vishtas, and I've seen this on previous year's robots. Would it be possible to have your intake and shooter as all one mechanism?
We believe that that's a viable strategy, yeah. It's going to take more design work than what we have to have your shooter and intake be the same subsystem. You're going to have to actuate it probably in both directions, up, down, and tilt, which has higher risk. There's a lot more control involved in that. However, if you are able to combine those three subsystems, then you don't really need any transfer mechanism to get the note from your intake to your shooter, because they're the same. So we just showed shots shooting into the speaker, but we also decided to use our shooter as our amp scoring mechanism. And we will say that this has been less consistent than we would have liked. However, with some fine tuning throughout yesterday and today, we were able to get like around 60% accuracy. The shooter wheels are running at around like 500 RPM in this scenario, and our shooter is about 3.75 inches from the wall. The top of our shooter is 26 inches high, so at 60 degrees, we have a nice angle to sort of hit the backboard right here and hopefully pop the note up vertical so that it drops in.
Have you tried doing any shots where you were only spinning one side of the wheels?
We did try that out in one of our shooting videos. We found that it sort of tears up the notes more than having the two wheels, although it does impart spin. That is a design consideration that can be made. The notes we've found, we're shooting them kind of like knuckleballs. They're not really spinning, but it may be advantageous if you're going for longer range shots to have the notes spinning, so maybe they have a more consistent flight path. That's not something that we got around to testing a ton. However, yeah, we did try it out. It was able to make shots into the speaker just fine, but it was tearing up the notes more than previously with the two.
So I know we'll be talking about the climber at some point as well, but we really haven't seen any shots attempted into the trap at all. Can we see one just trying from the ground to see what happens?
Yeah, sure. So I don't know what angle is going to be great for this. Probably like right there. It's going to be difficult with our fixed angle shooter to get there. We don't really have enough power either with our intake to launch the note up there. There was one that was decent. but you see the note landed straight back into our robot frame. Maybe I can talk about that a little bit. You're going to want to be really careful with your mechanisms this year, manipulation-wise, in making sure that whenever you're firing into the amp or the subwoofer, if things don't go exactly right, it bounces out, that it doesn't have a chance to fire into the frame of your robot, because you can only control one note at a time. If it gets stuck in your robot's frame, then you're out for the match. Controlling another note results in penalties. So that's a few shots into the trapdoor. We don't have a field spec trapdoor, but we think that this trapdoor honestly will require less force than the real field one. It's not really viable to shoot notes into the trap and push it out of the way. The game designers did too good of a job.
Let's draw for our next giveaway. Once again, that is for the 45A wheels that you see on the robot. That's on the shooter wheels right there. Those have been so valuable from the Thrifty bot. If you do win, please make sure you send admin@firstupdatesnow.com an email or Fun Tyler on Discord, and we'll respond back afterwards. All that shipping information would be great. The winner of that, do have to draw, and I'm sorry, we know that we have some issues with our bot showing up on screen, but the winner of that is going to be Dr. Chicken. Congratulations, Dr. Chicken. You have won those Thrifty Bot wheels, and thanks again to Andy Mark and the Thrifty Bot for the awesome giveaways that we've had, and still quite a bit more to cover on this robot. What's up next?
Yeah, so I think from here it's time to talk about the climber a little bit. I'm going to pass it back off to Reese.
Yeah, appreciate it, Corey. We'll go ahead and take that thing out of there. I guess we could make an attempt of when we climb, taking another shot and see what we can do with see if it's at all possible. But yeah, so talking more specifics about the climbers. So we are using two Thrifty Bot telescoping tube kits. We're really, really happy with these. They've turned out really well. The assembly went pretty well. They integrate really well onto the robot. And the biggest thing I really like these for is because they extend up high and then they retract really low. Each of these tubes is going to be about 10.5 inches, and they all kind of nest up pretty well. And the bottom of our hook right here is seated at 33 inches when fully extended. So we can go and kind of see what that looks like. We do a 180. Oh. Awesome. All right, we'll go ahead and line up against the chain, kind of show what that looks like. So we're going to line up center to start, just kind of show we're somewhat centered right now, but you can kind of see what we're looking like. Got a little bit of room on this side for the chain, plenty of room on this side, and we can just go ahead and do a quick climb. So this year, when you're climbing on the chain, if you're not climbing directly over your center of gravity is going to be really, really important, because as you can see, we're kind of leaning forward on our front left edge. If you don't pull up very high, then you may be sagging a little bit and touching. So we'll go ahead and demonstrate that. If you go ahead and come up now, we'll climb on one hook and kind of show what that looks like. Yeah, so you see there, our left side is still touching, so you need two hooks at this low point. Maybe if you pulled all the way down to your bumpers, you would be fine. But for us, we kind of have to be, we kind of have to have the two hooks. So that was kind of climbing close to center. We'll go ahead and climb as far out as we can right now. Still somewhat center. We'll go left a little more. And one thing about this year is that the chain is going to be super, super pliable. So don't treat it. You can, when you're going up to it, you could treat it like it's a rigid bar when you're measuring and stuff like that. But in reality, this thing will move left and right. You got to be able to account, like if you hit it, the chain may move forward, and then you pull down and you miss. There's all that. So this kind of shows us climbing from the left. And one thing to note, when you climb, if there's one person already climbed and you want to get a second person up, it's going to be basically a straight line to their climber right there. So that may be helpful. Sometimes that may be worse, because it may be a pretty high point right here that we may not be able to reach if we were climbing with someone else. So yeah. We'll go ahead and do a 180 and kind of show what that looks like from the other side, climbing from the other side. You may, in a match, you may need to come around and just climb real fast, and so you may not have to worry about position. I think that's going to be really important, to not have a direct orientation you need to climb at. See, that worked really well for us. Go ahead and come back down. Let's go and put out the intake, see what that looks like. let's say you come after picking up a match and your intake's still out, your center of gravity. See, there we go. We missed the chain. So there we pick up. Here we're really close. It's going to be really important to make sure that we are, kind of all the way up, or you just do that at the end of the match and make sure you're all good. So I guess while we're right here, let's go ahead and try and shoot into the trap, just because. We're a little misaligned right now, but we can at least see it. So there we got it into the trap, but the trap door kind of prevented us from scoring. We got it. So trap door is probably out of the cards for us, but we're driving these ThriftyBot climbers with these Neos down here. We're going to position to the camera so the camera can see. Packaging is going to be pretty difficult this year. There's a lot of different mechanisms going on, just like every other year. But for us, we're packaging them. We're putting the Neos kind of under the shooter subframe, and we're powering these with a Neo ran on a 12-to-1 using a Sport. You can use a max planetary, reverse planetary, or build your own gearbox for this. There's a lot of options you can do to really drive this, but this is kind of what we ended up going with. And it just kind of has an AndyMark hub right here and some spacers. The AndyMark spool is really, really nice. I really like theirs, but we just didn't have any on hand, so we used the AndyMark hub. And it's just passing the rope through here using this Dyneema cable, and just pulls down via tied off on the top on this hook right here. And these are polycarbonate hooks. These were made last second. We didn't really put much thought into them. The only design consideration we had is that if you were to move this point up here, then you pull down your wheels may be closer to the ground when you're fully pulled up. So I wanted to make sure that where the chain will sit was going to be somewhat flush with the top of this, because that's what we calculated for.
A couple questions coming in from chat that we do want to grab. First off, big announcement. Thank you, everybody. We have exceeded now over 20,000 subscribers on First Updates now. So on behalf of Fun, thank you very much for all of your support during Robot in 3 days and everything. So we are going to start a special giveaway for a fun hoodie or pullover. For that, all you got to type in is 20K. That's the giveaway for that. And thank you, everybody, for all your support on Fun. So a couple questions coming in with the climber. And by the way, one thing I do want to mention, there are a lot of questions that can be very easily answered in the game manual. So please make sure you are consulting the game manual, reading the game manual, checking the Q&A, because those are the official areas. What we do here is not official, and we do not represent anything potentially official for things. So always keep that in mind, is that in 3 days, sometimes we get things wrong. Sometimes things aren't exactly to what it should be. We try our best, but like you as teams, we are also still learning as well, too. So make sure you're consulting the Q&A and the game manual for any of those things as well. Somebody asked, it kind of got lost in chat a little bit, but if you were to pull... how far can the chain be pulled out from the wall while the bot is still hanging? Like, how much pliability is there on that chain while the bot's hanging? And that was asked by Will Brown.
If we go ahead and climb, we'll go ahead and just pull on it a little bit. Go and climb the other way. Yeah. I would say this would be our preferred method of climbing right here. Just kind of give us a little bit of room away from the stage. But you can see as you kind of drive into it like that, it really kind of grabs it, and then go ahead and climb up. So then you get a little bit of swing effect, and now if I go ahead and just grab on here, thank you very much, you can kind of see I can pull it out. And so one thing to note is when this is going to happen, as you start to pull this out, it's also going to rise up. So if you were pushing up against this wall, and that may change where the height of the chain will, because this, and also when you climb, this is probably no longer at 28 inches from here. This is probably a little bit higher than 28 inches than what it starts at when it's fully drooped. Awesome. All right.
Sorry.
No worries.
Couple questions. Just want to go back into. There was one Noah Kirby coming in asking about the intake. Would you add spacers between the 2-inch ThriftyBot intake wheels, given more time, or any other changes you would make to that, or to the climber as well too?
Yeah. One thing about the climber, I'm not the happiest with how it was constrained to the robot, but it works. Basically, what we're doing right now, go and do a 180 for me. We're using, go ahead and go a little bit more, and perfect. All right, so we're using These Thrifty bought gussets right here and just kind of gusseting down to here, riveting onto that plate, and that's the only thing we're using on this side. And then up here on the subframe, we found a location where we can send a bolt all the way through the subframe, mounting to the Thrifty bot climber. It is not the cleanest solution at all. With more time, I would definitely put some more effort, making it a little more dedicated, I would say. And that would be one improvement. And then on the Thrifty bot wheels here, I would definitely put some spacers in here. If you want that consistency, it would be nice to have those spacers. I won't say it's absolutely needed. If you check after every match, check your location of all your wheels, you should be fine.
We're going to grab one more question before we start to keep moving on this robot because we are running a little bit long. Elder Uguay asks in chat, should all teams make it necessary to develop and integrate an intake system, or can teams get by just loading from the source?
Teams definitely could get by loading from the source, but in my opinion, every high-level team, and the easiest pathway to high-level play is going to be through ground. The reason I say this is because if you take a look at these, no matter how many times I throw it on the floor, no matter which way it comes out, it'll always be as a circle on the floor, and this makes intaking consistent. I wouldn't say easy, but I would say consistent, and that's why I really prefer ground intake, and I think ground intake is going to be very good for this game. There's going to be missed shots. There's going to be game pieces on the floor. There's going to be multiple game pieces starting in the match on the floor. So it'd be a shame to miss out on those from the start. But if that's your only option, that's fine.
Just while we're ahead of this, can we show a couple of the notes sliding on the carpet?
Yeah, of course, yeah. So a few of our notes have kind of had some wear over time, so they don't slide as well, but the brand new ones slide amazing. But these ones still slide pretty well. The brand new ones slide almost like a puck on an air hockey table. These ones are pretty good, but definitely have lost some of their slipperiness. And when we drive through them, we go ahead and drive through them and kind of see what the robot interacts with them. And a reminder, our bumpers are at a 1-inch height right now. And you kind of see we just kind of push it.
What happens if a note gets stuck somewhere in the robot? What's the plan for that, or how should teams accommodate for that?
Yeah, so if a note gets stuck under the robot, the best thing to do is get really rigorous with the drive stick. Try and shake the robot as much as possible. Get it out from under there. But if it's stuck inside the robot, that's going to be a bit more difficult. None of your mechanisms can interact with it. So this is what I'm saying. You're going to be really rigorous with the drive stick. You might be able to get it out, and there you go. Now you're back in the match. If it's stuck inside the robot, go ahead and tilt the intake up. So this is going to be important. You got to make sure you might not be able to build some shielding or something to prevent if game pieces come in there that you can maybe spin your robot real fast. This may be a situation where you need a high-speed turning to kind of like really whip out the game piece. But if you're in this situation, we would be out of luck.
Let's start to move on. We got a couple more things to talk about. I know programming, autonomous, a couple other things. What's next?
Yeah, let's go ahead and go on. I can give it off to Jordan. He can kind of give us a little in-depth overview of the programming.
Yeah, so there are a couple things we wanted to cover. First of all, we are running speed control on a couple of our motors, primarily the shooter motors. We originally were running those in voltage mode, and that actually worked well for the speaker. Just because we're kind of just blasting the notes in there, it really wasn't a problem. However, when we tried to use our shooter to score in the amp, it was much less consistent and much more dependent on battery voltage, which was kind of a big problem. And so we moved to speed control mode, and we saw, even though it's not 100% for scoring in the amp still, the consistency was hugely increased. So definitely think about that as something that you might want to consider. You know, we're using Neo Vortexes on the intake, or sorry, on the shooter. And so those have encoders built in. So without any additional encoders at all, if you're using those motors, you can do speed control for free, basically. The documentation, both on website and the WPI lib docs, have ways to do that. You can also check out our code for how we did it. It's like 4 lines of code. It's really easy. So I would encourage you to think about that if you're having issues with consistency. Next up, we, as you might have noticed, put LEDs on the robot. And these are not just to look pretty, although they do look pretty in our opinion. One of the things that as a driver is kind of hard to tell what state your robot is in. You may press a button and think the intake is out, but you're on the other side of the field and you can't see your robot, or you might be trying to shoot and somebody else is in the way, and you can't really tell what exactly on your robot is going on. Some people use like the glass dashboard and things for that, which is great, but in the heat of the moment, LED indicators are really good for that. So one of the things we did, Reese, if you want to go, or actually I can let you talk about it. So
yeah, I'll kind of
auto intake.
Yeah, I'll narrate through the different LED patterns that we have, and then also a feature that we added, having a limit switch on the intake. So yellow means we're intaking, green means that limit switch has been pressed, and we've got a clause in our robot code saying that if we're intaking on the ground and the limit switch gets pressed, automatically flip the pivot back into shooter mode. So this might seem like very trivial, maybe not necessary, but whenever you're driving in the heat of competition, little things like this just make your robot so much more efficient. There's no thought to it. The robot just does what you expect. You also notice that whenever we intook, we got it, the LEDs turned green. And so across the field, it's very easy to tell. We have positive hold on the note. It's fine to start driving away. Once we get the note into our robot, we have a couple more colors. So if we are firing the note into the amp, we have this yellow colored signifying that the shooter wheels are spinning at the low RPM. And this might also seem trivial, but whenever the robot is out on the field, you can't really hear or see how fast the wheels are spinning. Our higher speed for the speaker shots is white, and then once we fire or stop the shooter motors, it's red. So kind of cycling through the colors, we'll go from red to green, and then either to yellow or white, depending on whether we're shooting in the amp or the speaker.
What's rainbow mode mean?
Rainbow is actually disabled. So that is another good indicator. Sometimes you don't know right away. I mean, you can look at the driver station and see if you're disabled or not in the match. But you can change LEDs in disabled mode. So you can use them as indicators as well. So last year, Red Alert, the team I mentor, had different sections defined on our robot for different indications. So on our two arm supports, we had different sections that would tell us different things depending on what the state of the robot was. So individually addressable LEDs like this are super useful for diagnostic information as well. And I know there's been other teams in the past that use that same disabled functionality for lining up for autonomous. If you have something like a Limelight and you're looking at an April tag, you can actually put information onto the LEDs so you don't have to know if you're lined up or not. You can use the difference in the pose and then show location information on the LEDs.
Have you guys looked into vision at all for this year's game? And AJ Games asks, is it something you would recommend for teams?
It's something that we did not get really get time to look into. It's something I definitely would recommend. We're shooting from the subwoofer, and so there's not a ton of lining up. It's kind of just jam your bumpers up there, hold your intake, or hold the drivetrain forward and to kind of apply some positive pressure. But definitely if you're shooting from a larger distance away, I would highly encourage using the April tags for vision tracking, just because as a driver, it's really hard to know if you're lined up or not. Even if you have something like a webcam pointed at the goal, maybe your webcam is slightly off, or latency and things like that.
Also wanted to mention for vision, the notes this year are kind of great for object detection against the carpet. So for something like autonomous, if you have a Limelight, I believe that they have a feature where you can train it to detect a specific object. It'll tell you whether you need to turn left or right to intake it in a way. And so that can help you have a more consistent autonomous, not just relying on like some paths or dead reckoning distances. You can actually detect exactly where the note is and steer your robot towards it autonomously.
I would say one last thing for controls wise. One thing, as we mentioned before, we have 2 independent climbers, and as I'm sure many veterans are aware, when you run 2 motors at the same speed, you don't always get the same output. You know, gearboxes bind differently and things like that. So one of the things we did intentionally control, we have a button that goes up or down for both of the climbers, but then additionally on the D-pad you can press left or right, and you're able to adjust the difference between them. So if we're tilting for some reason or one of the motors is binding, we have the ability to independently bias those, which we think will really help with climbing, both in the consistency and being able to, you know, better climb with partners potentially if you're tilted weird or something like that.
Something we should mention before we move on is we do have the CAD for this robot available. It is currently, if you are watching live, currently in the description. Otherwise, we will try to get that up there as well. So, interesting. And we have a GitHub too, I believe, right?
Yep. So all of our code is available currently on github.com/Cranberry Alarm. There's a CA24 robot code repository. If not, if you don't remember that, Cranberry Alarm, it's pinned on our GitHub profile. If you have any questions there, I'll try to be following there. There's been people asking questions already. Honestly, the easiest way to ask questions about the code is to open an issue on the GitHub and ask your question there. You know, I'll try my best to follow up in the coming weeks with those.
A couple more things to talk about this robot before we wrap up. What else do we want to showcase?
I think autonomous.
We got to show autonomous.
Sure. So in the nick of time this morning, we were working on a 2-piece auto. We believe that a two-note auto is pretty accessible for most teams this year, since the note is directly behind, well, one of the notes is directly behind the center of the subwoofer. We don't know if this lines up with the exact distances, but it's generally in the vicinity. So there's 3 notes there, pretty close to the starting location. And what you're going to see is we start with a note stashed in our intake. The shooter's going to spin up, shoot. It's going to drive backwards, flipping the intake out. And then once it sees the limit switch has been pressed, it's going to turn around, drive back forwards, and fire the second note. If you check out our code, you'll notice that the actual code for that autonomous is like 10 lines long. And that's because we broke everything out into subtasks on our robot in a way. They're kind of like commands. And so we have one to spin up the shooter, we have one to change the angle of the intake, one of them to intake, and then driving is the last one. We believe that with like a little bit of path planner work, we probably could get a 4-note auto. Since the notes are so close, we would have to speed things up quite a bit. However, if we get 2 million bits, I think it was, we'll go for a 4-note auto.
Perfect. As we start to wrap up for today, a couple of things I want to talk about. First off, you all are either mentor or alumni from Red Alert 1741 here in Indiana. I know, Reese, you're a mentor on SOAP 108, legendary team back in the day as well. I want to hear from you all just some final thoughts on lessons learned through this process. What are maybe some key things to break down that teams should really be paying attention to in regards to the crescendo game that they should be taking with them moving forward?
Yeah, definitely a lot of lessons learned throughout this time. We were kind of fortunate enough that a lot of our ideas kind of really hit the mark on the first try. So that's really impactful for Ri3D when we're moving fast. I would definitely say the biggest thing we learned is the amp is extremely difficult. It's not a simple game element. In my opinion, I think the amp is actually more challenging than the speaker. But With that said, the amp is half as much, but it opens up the possibility of getting the amplified speaker points worth of 5 points. So I think definitely lesson learned is focusing more on a mechanism prioritized for amp. And it doesn't necessarily mean a separate mechanism. It maybe just means a speaker shooter that is also much more optimized for the amp.
I think one thing that it kind of bit us and that I'm thinking about more now is that when prototyping and trying things out for the first time on final designs, programming controls in some sort of safety mode would have saved us a lot of time and several broken max planetary shrouds and things like that. So, for example, we have the arm pivot is now current limited to, I believe, 10 amps. So even if it does bind, we're programmatically limiting that now, so we really can't physically break anything, which I think is a great thing to think about. In addition, we had an issue earlier with the absolute encoder where it was not getting signal correctly. We did resolve the issue, but importantly, when it wasn't reading correctly, the arm thought it was in the wrong position, which is actually what caused the pivot issue. So now we have a control in there as well for when the absolute encoder is not reading correctly, we automatically disable the pivot motor so that there's no risk of injury there.
Yeah. On a different note, one thing I wanted to talk about was how much time we spent CADing this year, and how greatly that impacted our final outcome. I think that the most successful parts of this robot were pre-designed based off of prototypes before we started assembling anything. Cannot stress this enough. It's very important to go through, prototype your ideas, start out with a drivetrain, with a control system, pneumatics, test how things feel. But once you have enough info about the game pieces, the interactions, how difficult things are, then it's time to sit down and design things out. So big shout out to Reese. He really carried us in the CAD. The CAD's available. It's pretty nice. It's pretty representative of the robot that we have, and I think that we would not have done as well as we did without sinking some time into the CAD.
Yeah, and along those lines with CAD, there's still a few things that I need to get to, updating with the CAD that I haven't got to, that I'll get to after the Ri3D, and I'll keep updating that, and I'll keep making some iterations. And as we, with Red Alert, if they keep testing and keep finding things to improve on this robot, I'll keep making additions to the CAD there.
One other thing I just thought about, so the whole goal of Ri3D for us is to show you prototypes, what works, what doesn't work, including all the systems, but also things like the code. Steal our stuff. Like, we don't care. It's all out there public. It's all out there for you. And things like our designs, as well as all the other Ri3D designs. Part of the reason we're publishing all these things is for you guys to take. Be that exact copies because it's working well, or we mentioned things that we thought we could do better. So take our things, improve on them, and I think you'll have a good season.
Yeah, and another thing I had to comment on is we used a lot of CNC on this robot this year, and that may be intimidating. And if you don't have access to CNC, there's a lot of third parties. I know FabWorks is really good. Andy Mark has a WaterJet channel that you can go to. There's a lot of ways you can get access to some CNC milling, and if you don't, you can print out these sheets and you can cut them 1-to-1. Just drill some holes. Like, these shooter plates are just 4 holes with a grid pattern. The gussets here may be a little bit harder. The intake plates might be harder. The intake mounts might be harder. But really, the goal is that this entire thing could be really built with a CNC, or it could be built with a hand drill and a jigsaw.
Well, Cranberry Alarm, thank you so much for an incredible journey that we've gone through. These 72 hours have been awesome. And just sincerely, on behalf of First Updates Now, Cranberry Alarm, you have been absolutely phenomenal. Thank you so much for inspiring the community with your awesome designs out there. Make sure you check out all the videos that we have here on Fun for that as well. By the way, we did draw for our giveaway. Shout out to Lucas Anderson for that as well too. So congratulations on that. We can't wait to see this. We will still have like a reveal video. We'll come up with it in a couple days as well too. So keep an eye out for that. But teams, we wish you best of luck in Crescendo. This is an incredible game. We hope you have an incredible time with that as well too. And of course, stick around on fun. We have tons of content coming out from our friends at the Open Alliance. During the build season, if you want to see what other teams are doing, we'll be showcasing that as well. And of course, during competition season, tons of FRC content coming out to you. So Cranberry Alarm, once again, make sure you send them a lot of love. By the way, thanks again for those in the Super Chat, and thanks for those supporting Fun, and thanks to those supporting Cranberry Alarm. I've had over 200,000 views on these videos as well, too. So you guys are obviously making a huge impact on what's going on in the community, which is so cool that we'll be able to do that as well. So on behalf of First Updates Now, myself and Samantha here running the crew here, and all of everybody here at Cranberry Alarm, we wish you best of luck in Crescendo. Can't wait to see your designs and what you come up with. We'll see you next time on Ri3D and Fun. Talk to you all then. Take care, everybody.
This video on Fun is brought to you by viewers like you and also in partnership with the following. Discover how Kettering University students engineer their success with Kettering's amazing co-op employment programs where students earn great pay and gain valuable experience. Those accepted into Kettering University can apply for a robotics scholarship, providing up to an additional $5,000 a year in tuition assistance. Head on over to kettering.edu/first to learn more and apply. AndyMark is your one-stop shop for all your robotics competition needs. Celebrating 20 years of quality robotics parts and superior service, AndyMark employees have over 200 years of first-team experience. From mechanical and electrical products to tools and hardware, head on over to andymark.com for high-quality and affordable solutions.